Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto x Kuroka with Rias part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Naruto blinked his eyes rapidly as his sense of hearing slowly came back to him. A stray Bijudama had shattered his eardrum when it impacted near him. To a voice called out to Naruto, but he couldn't make out what was said. The words had been muffled by the ringing in his ear. Naruto shook his head to try to get rid of the noise and looked to the person who was trying to catch his attention. A hand reached down and pulled him up by the arm before he could get a good look at him. "We don't time," the voice sounded urgent. Naruto finally got a good look at the man and recognized the familiar shock of vibrant yellow hair. "Tu-chan?" he mumbled in confusion. Finally the annoying ringing in his ear subsided, and he was assaulted by the sounds of war once again. He could clearly hear his father's next words. "Naruto, we have to hurry. There's not much time left," Minato said in a hurried tone. Without waiting for a response from his son, he teleported them both to the edge of the battlefield using his Hiraishin. Standing in wait were the Shodame and Sandame Hokage, Senju Hashirama and Sarutobi Hiruzen respectively. Immediately after they arrived, the Nidame, Senju Tobirama, appeared in a similar flash of light with Sasuke in tow. Seeing as the Hokages were mere reanimations, they were almost completely unscathed, save for Minato's missing arm. However, both Naruto and Sasuke were battered beyond belief. "Saru, any news?" Tobirama looked at Sarutobi. Whether intentional or not, Sarutobi straightened just a little bit. "As you could probably see, it seems that Madara is preoccupied rounding up the released Bijou." Hiruzen gestured behind him, where in the far distance Madara could be seen doing battle with a few of the Bijou. Tobirama nodded. He exchanged glances with Minato. "Then it is time we put that technique into play." Hashirama frowned. He turned to Naruto and Sasuke and bowed lowly. "I deeply apologize, you two. You have seen so much death today. All of your peers." Sasuke scowled. "Enough theatrics, what technique are they talking about?" He cut the bowing man off mid-sentence. Naruto, having finally regained his bearings, frowned and crossed his arms. "Yeah, what the hell's going on here?" He made a head gesture behind him. "Can't you tell we got a madman we gotta stop?" He pushed the thoughts of his fallen friends from his mind. He couldn't use guilt and sorrow to fight. He had more important things to do right now than brood. Hashirama stood straight and looked to Minato. "Yondaime?" Minato sighed deeply. "It's a forbidden technique. Tobirama Dano had begun working on it before his death, and I did a little bit of research about it while I was Hokage." Tobirama's expression hardened. He bent low and picked up a stray branch. Enough beating around the bush. He began to draw a complex formula onto the ground. "Tell them already." Hashirama breathed deeply. "Put simply, we can't stop Madara." Naruto's eyes widened. "What do you mean we can't dash?" "Perhaps if this had happened while you were adults it could have been stopped, but the simple matter is we're not strong enough," Hashirama admitted. "I wasn't expecting him to awaken the Rinnegan, nor could I have predicted the combined powers of both eyes to be so powerful." Tobirama continued to draw the formula, but he grunted in agreement nonetheless. "You should have burned his body on sight, Hashirama," he chided. Hashirama sighed. "Perhaps so, but now is not the time for regrets. Now is the time for action." Naruto nodded. "I get that, so what's the plan to beat him then?" Sarutobi shook his head sadly. "There is no plan, I'm afraid." He took a step forward. "Naruto, Sasuke-kun, I have known you since you were both young children. You each showed some of the best qualities a shinobi can possess. Talent." He looked to Sasuke. "Hard work." He looked at Naruto. "I see you both as my family, and I have failed you both time and time again, and for that I apologize." Naruto felt tears well up in the corner of his eyes. What are you saying, Ji-chan?" Sasuke's eyes narrowed. "Sandame, I have no need for your apologies. You did what was expected of the Hokage, nothing more, nothing less. Now, explain what's happening." Sarutobi nodded. "Very well. From what Minato-kun has told me, the formula Tobirama-sensei is drawing as we speak is a complex, extremely difficult and potentially fatal time-space technique." Minato stepped forward. "Allow me, Sandame-sama." At Sarutobi's nod he looked at the two teens. "The technique will, put simply, rip a hole in the fabric of space and time and transport whatever's in the circle to another dimension." Naruto's mouth gaped. "Another dimension? You mean like the Kamui?" Minato shook his head. No, Kamui transports an object into a very specific dimension unique to its user. Tobiramadano's research implies that there are an infinite number of dimensions. This technique simply chooses the closest dimension to our own, going by the dimensional rift theory postulated by Tobiramadano and myself. What does that mean for us though? Naruto pressed, not really understanding his father's explanation. Yozara Tankachi, it means they intend on sending us to another dimension, Sasuke said coldly. Naruto's eyes widened. He looked at his father to see him nod solemnly. What? We can't just leave. That goddamn monster is still there, and the log be damned before I give up on taking him down. Sasuke nodded in agreement. I don't usually agree with Naruto, but this plan is one I don't agree with. Hashirama stepped forward. We don't have much choice. Almost all of the remaining forces of the Shinobi Alliance have either given up or are dead. As reanimated beings, we're vulnerable to truth-seeking balls, and once he captures the remaining Bijou, we'll be all but useless. Then we just have to stop him from. We can't, Naruto. Can't you understand that? Minato raised his voice in anger. He then hung his head. He moved forward and pulled Naruto into a tight hug. He caressed Naruto's head softly. We're not strong enough, son, and both you and Sasuke-san are on the last bit of chakra left to survive. We, the last generation, have failed you. He pulled back. He was visibly holding back tears. I wanted to see the cycle of hatred end, and I was and still am willing to die for that dream, but not if I have to sacrifice my son. Naruto glared at Minato through teary eyes. Damn it, Two-chan. So am I. I'm ready to fight him. Please, Naruto, allow me this one selfish wish? Minato pleaded. It's my wish that you may get to live long in a peaceful world. If the one you go to isn't such a place, I have every confidence you will fight until it is won. I believe that you'll find peace. It's who you are and who you'll always be. So please, Naruto, go along with it. Naruto hesitated, his eyes wander from face to face as he reads their solemn expressions. But. 75 seconds until the array is complete, Tobirama announced as he worked tirelessly on the seal. Naruto looked at Sasuke. Sasuke. Sasuke stared into Naruto's eyes sharply. Even I realize that I can't face Madara alone. If you leave, I won't be strong enough to end him. If you leave, I'll have little choice but to go with you or die, and I'm not going to fade quietly into the eternal night. Naruto looked away and sighed. Fine. Minato smiled in relief. He reached into his pouch and grabbed a small scroll. Here, Naruto, I managed to pick it up on the way over here in case I couldn't tell you about it. It contains things I know you'll find useful. He presented the scroll to Naruto. Naruto grabbed it gently. Thanks, Two-chan. Oh, that reminds me, Hashirama suddenly said. He looked at Tobirama. Did you? He was cut off as a scroll was thrown at him. He caught it easily. I found it easily. You never did have good hiding spots, Tobirama said in monotone, never once deviating from the seal. Hashirama managed a small smile despite the situation. Thanks. He turned to Naruto. In this scroll are some very advanced chakra control techniques I created and some of my theories on how nature chakra affects the body. It's not much, but I want you to have it. He handed it to Naruto. Naruto accepted the scroll and nodded. Thanks, Hashirama-san. He pocketed both scrolls in his pouch. 15 seconds. Yandame, now is the time. Minato nodded. He immediately moved towards the edge of the seal array. Tobirama finished the seal and tossed the branch aside. He looked at Naruto and Sasuke. Well, get in the middle, he said succinctly. Numbly, Naruto found himself stepping inside the circle, accompanied by the ever-stoic Sasuke. When they reached the center, Naruto felt a small shove on his shoulder. He turned his head to see Sasuke staring at him pointedly. Sasuke. Get your act together, he said simply. If Naruto didn't know any better, he'd say those were words of encouragement. Minato exchanged glances with Tobirama. We're beginning now. Naruto looked at his father. Two-chan, how are you going to use hand seals when you only one arm? I'll guide the chakra to make sure everything proceeds smoothly. Tobiramadano will cast the seals. Ah. Without another word, the two Hokage set to work. Minato crouched low and placed his forefinger and middle on the edge of the seal. The Nidaime began casting hand seals at an impressive rate. In no time, the seal began to glow a brilliant azure as chakra was being charged into it. The two other Hokage remained vigilant in case Madara caught wind of their plot. Luckily for them, it seemed the Uchiha Patriarch had deemed them as non-important at the moment. It seemed the Bijou were putting up a stronger fight than expected. Naruto idly wondered if they had an idea of what was about to happen and were trying to keep him occupied for them. The next few minutes were as equally tense as it was quiet, and everyone was on high alert. More than once Naruto fired a kunai at what he thought was a strange noise only to realize it was the idle thrum coming from the seal formula as more chakra was poured into it. He quickly realized the phrase "fool me once, shame on you. Fool my 5 times, shame on me" aptly applied to him right now. In other circumstances his face would have burned in embarrassment. Suddenly the blue light became blinding. Naruto and Sasuke raised a hand to cover the eyes. If one were to look at it from afar it would seem like a radiant star of power. Naruto exchanged glances with Sasuke. He then looked at his father. "How sure are we that this is gonna work?" he shouted over the thrum of chakra. Minato gave Naruto a sheepish smile. "About 70 to 30% sure. The biggest obstacle is the amount of chakra required to use this seal, but between Tobaramadano and myself, the cost shouldn't be a concern." Yandame. Minato's expression became serious. "This is it, boys." He closed his eyes. Suddenly he was engulfed in a yellow flame-like aura. The low thrum became a booming roar as the massive quantity of chakra the incubi possessed was filtered into the seal. Naruto was forced to cover his ears. He saw his father mouth the words for Fuinjutsu, but he couldn't make out the rest of what was said. Naruto and Sasuke felt a pull that was nearly identical to the pull Kamui had when used. Their visions began to blur. The last thing Naruto managed to catch was his father's gentle smile before everything was covered in darkness, and he and Sasuke slipped into the cold embrace of unconsciousness. Naruto wasn't sure how long they were stuck in between dimensions, it all felt like an instant to him, but he definitely felt when they were being pulled into their new dimension, and he definitely felt when he landed. It was time to wake up and face this new world. When Naruto and Sasuke regained consciousness, it happened in a brief instant. They both shot up quickly. What happened?" Naruto asked drowsily. He shook his head before looking around. They appeared to be in some sort of forest. "It worked then," Sasuke said coolly. "Seems like, but how can we tell?" Naruto questioned. "For now, we gather intel. Just to be safe, we should transform into other people," Sasuke responded. Naruto nodded and the two performed a simple henge technique. Naruto transformed into a young girl around 10 in a dress, her short black hair hung loosely. Sasuke had transformed into a man around 35 with dark brown hair dressed in a comfortable long-sleeved shirt and pants. Sasuke glared at the little form of Naruto. "I really hate you sometimes, Naruto. Now it looks like we are a father and daughter pair. Why did you pick that form?" "I figured people would be less suspicious of a little girl than a teenage boy," he said in the voice of a young child. Sasuke could not refute Naruto's point, but held his glare for a short while after. Turning away, Sasuke gave a short HN, before he began walking. As they exited the forest silently, they both gaped. "Whoa! Those look like the things we rode in back in the land of snow," Naruto exclaimed. Sasuke quickly shook out of his stupor and pulled Naruto with him. "Come, we need to get more info," Sasuke said as he began walking down the street. After 2 hours of scouring the small town, the shinobi duo had found very little in terms of intel. It was nearing twilight now and the pair had stopped in a park, after dispelling their transformation, and brooded over their predicament. "I'm leaving," Sasuke said abruptly. Naruto turned in surprise. "What do you mean leaving?" he asked. "I mean we're splitting up," he said simply. "Why?" "Right now we have no information on where we are. All we found out was the date. When we left, it was October, now it's late spring. It's pointless staying together. We should split up and try to find anything we can," Sasuke explained. Naruto admitted that Sasuke had a point, it just didn't sit right with him. "Besides, I'm going to be training. You keep those scrolls that the Hokages gave you. You need them more than I do." Naruto stared at Sasuke in shock before realizing that Sasuke had just challenged him. "Team. Just you watch, I'll find where we are and train so hard you'll be left in the dust." Sasuke smirked. "I still want to fight you, seriously fight you. One-on-one all out." "Asa. Train hard, team. I want a challenge when we fight." Naruto challenged back with a confident grin. He knew Sasuke would be okay, the bastard was too stubborn to die, just like Naruto himself. Sasuke held out his fist and Naruto immediately bumped his with it. They pair nodded and turned away from each other. Sasuke left in a swirl of leaves and Naruto slowly walked out of the park. Even if I said all those things, it's still kinda lonely, he mumbled to himself as he walked away. By now, it was dark and had started to drizzle. Naruto, who had ignored the rain, walked on as he pondered where he would sleep that night. Naruto stopped in mid-stride as he felt a large burst of killing intent. What the hell? I gotta check this out, maybe it'll help me figure out where I am, he thought to himself. Taking to the rooftops, Naruto quickly reached where the killing intent was strongest. Looking towards the ground and lowering his presence, he saw two figures locking swords. He had barely noticed that it had started to pour. They were both around his age. One wore what looked like a school uniform the civilians wore. He had blonde hair that fell on his face. The other wore some type of robe. He had crazed look on his face. He had long white hair and was cackling loudly. In Naruto's opinion, they were sloppy with their movement, or more as if they were not masters in kenjutsu like Zabuza or Kisame. Hell, he heard there was the samurai Mifune who was a master. The blonde guy seemed like he had more practice than the weird white-haired guy though, he had talent. In any case, they had caught his attention, and he paid rapt attention to them. Unfortunately, he couldn't hear what they were saying, but it looked like the blonde one was getting angry. Then the one with the stupid grin said something that made the blonde guy look shocked, then his sword started to glow, and a bright light flashed, and he was gone from sight. I can still sense that weirdo, but I'll let it slide for this golden opportunity, Naruto thought as he silently hopped to the floor. The other boy was glaring at his hands. Oddly enough, his sword had disappeared, and seemed to be mentally cursing. Sword guy, Naruto called out. The boy whirled around, and a sword manifested in his hand. Hey, calm down. I'm not gonna attack ya, I just got some questions for ya, Naruto said lightly. What are you? I can't tell if you're an angel, devil, or a fallen angel, the person asked. What the hell are you talking about? Angels? Devils? My name is Naruto. The boy lowered his sword slightly but kept a ready stance. I am Yudo Kiba, he said simply. Now answer me. What are you? Naruto frowned slightly. I'm a human, he said. Well, technically a Jinchuriki, but he doesn't need to know that. Kiba seemed to be in thought. He looked back at Naruto and lowered his sword. You don't seem to be lying. Fine, you said you have questions, so do I. I'll take you to my master. Follow me, he told Naruto as he began to walk away. However, he had kept his sword materialized. Naruto followed silently through the rain. He said, Master, so he's like a servant or something? He thought to himself. He followed him to a large building. Oi, Kiba, right? What the hell is this? He asked to the other boy ahead. This is Ko Academy, he said simply. Whoa! This is a school? It's at least 5 times bigger than the Shinobi Academy back in Konoha, Naruto exclaimed in his head. Kiba led Naruto to a smaller building off to the side. Entering inside, they ascended a flight of stairs and reached a door. Kiba knocked lightly before stepping inside. Naruto stayed back for a moment to see what happens. Yudo, you're back? He heard a female voice say almost in shock. Bucho, there's someone for you to meet, Kiba said with a somewhat detached tone. You can come in now, the woman called out to Naruto. Naruto stepped through the door and looked at the girl in front of him. She was about a year older than he was, with breasts that rivaled Tsunade. She had long crimson hair and seemed to hold herself with a sense of regality. She was very pretty in Naruto's eyes. I'm Rias of the Gremory family, she said lightly. Ah, Uzumaki Naruto at your service. Nice to meet you, Naruto said happily. He saw several couches and chairs but opted to stay standing because he was still wet. Bucho, he says he's a human, but I didn't sense him until he presented himself, Naruto heard Kiba whisper to her. She seemed shocked. What can I help you with? Is it a high-cost request then, Uzumaki-san? She spoke formally. Naruto's just fine, but no, I just have some questions. Alright, let's hear them, Naruto-san, she said. Well, first of all, where are we? He asked. Rias raised an eyebrow. We're in a small town in the country of Japan. She said it almost sarcastically. Great. What's Japan? Rias was stumped. She was shocked that he did not even know where Japan was. I have a question of my own if you'll indulge me. Shoot. What are you? Naruto sighed. He did not want to reveal too much, but he had little choice if he wanted answers, and these people obviously had answers. Fine, but it's a little hard to believe, he told her. Try me. Well, I'm from a different dimension, he stated bluntly. She blinked in surprise. Really? She asked. Yep. Okay. What? That's it. Okay, Naruto asked in shock. Well, it's certainly rare, but not unheard of for people to travel dimensions. She spoke calmly. Now it was Naruto's turn to be surprised. Well, that clears some confusion up for me, she said as she sighed and crossed her arms under her massive bust. You're in the human world, on planet Earth, in the small country called Japan, she stated. Alright, that works for now, Naruto mumbled, filing that precious information away for later. Now what the hell are angels and devils? Instead of answering him, black bat-like wings grew from her back, as well as Kiba's back. Whoa! What the hell is that? He shouted. We are devils. I guess we could also go by demons in some circles, she explained. Demons, I see, even this world has demons, Naruto said softly. There were demons in your dimension? She asked. Yeah, but they're called Bijou by us. They were huge and had monstrous power. There were 9 of them. Each had a set number of tails, with the highest being 9, Naruto said in a tone of reverie. You sound as if you knew them personally, Kiba finally interjected. You could say that. I'm what we call a Jinchuriki. Power of human sacrifice, why? Rias asked, curiosity etched on her face. Naruto lifted his shirt and channeled a bit of chakra. His seal appeared, looking almost like a tattoo. This is the seal to keep the Kyubi no Kitsune sealed inside me. We used to hate each other, but we made up and now we're precious comrades. He seems to be sleeping now. So it's almost like a sacred gear, Rias mumbled. Sacred what now? I'll tell you later. I have a feeling we will be seeing a lot of each other. However, back to angels and devils, she said. Right. Now what are angels? Naruto asked, pulling down his shirt. Do you know of God from the Bible? Rias questioned. Not a clue. Is he like the Holy Log, or the Shinigami? Naruto responded. Holy Log? Rias and Kiba asked in shock. I'll tell you later. Well, I guess you could call him Almighty Creator. Oh, you mean like Kami-sama? Yes. That makes things easier. Well, angels are his messengers, and his warriors. They usually have white feathery wings growing out of their back. The more powerful seraphs have golden wings. I see, are they bad? Naruto asked. Well, it depends on who you ask. They are the natural enemies to us devils, but like humans, their personalities vary, but most of them believe in divine righteousness. All races have their share of good and bad. I see, is there peace? Naruto asked, his face serious for the first time since he entered the room. Rias looked taken aback at the sudden question. It's not so much as peace as it is a ceasefire. Between us devils, the angels and fallen angels. Naruto sighed and relaxed his face. Fallen angels, what are they? They are angels who have betrayed God. They gave in to desire and fell from heaven where God and his angels live, she explained. Ah, I see. Is that all, Naruto-san? Rias asked. Naruto looked embarrassed and scratched the back of his neck. Well, I was transported to this world a couple of hours ago, so I was wondering if you knew a place where I could stay. Rias giggled, all pretenses of seriousness gone. Naruto thought that she looked more natural that way. Yuto, will it be a bother for him to stay with you? Rias asked Kiba. Kiba looked more relaxed but still had an air of intensity about him. I don't mind, are we done now, Bucho? Rias sighed. Yes, we are. She sounded a little hurt by his tone. I don't think this Kiba guy acts like a dick usually. Something must have happened, maybe it has something to do with that freaky guy earlier. Naruto pondered to himself. Can you bring Naruto-san here tomorrow before school? I'd like him to meet everyone else, plus we have more to discuss. Rias asked of Kiba. He nodded silently. She turned towards Naruto and smiled. Well then, I will see you tomorrow and introduce you to everyone. Got it, boss lady. Naruto grinned. Be boss lady? Rias stammered. Ja-ni. Come on, Kiba, let's go, Naruto said loudly. Kiba sighed before stepping out the door. As Kiba led Naruto to his apartment, he was quiet. It stopped raining sometime while they were talking inside. Say, Kiba, are you okay with me staying with you? I mean, I could find someplace else. Kiba sighed before stopping and turning towards Naruto. I apologize if I came off as rude. I have a lot on my mind and I need time to think. I don't mind you staying at my apartment. He sounded calmer and less agitated. Kiba smiled lightly. He stuck his hand out and introduced himself. Sorry for being rude earlier. I'm Yuto Kiba, 17 and second year in high school. Without missing a beat, Naruto shook his hand. Uzumaki Naruto, 17 and Genin rank shinobi. He responded lightly. He let go and started laughing. Ah, that's better. Say, Kiba, know any good places to eat? I'm starving. Kiba chuckled. Well, everything's closed now, but I'll make something when we get to my home. He promised. Asa, lead the way. Kiba nodded and started the trek to his home once again. He somehow felt like he could get along with his fellow blonde. He certainly was interesting company. However, Kiba made sure to file away the fact that Naruto claimed to be a shinobi. Naruto woke up early that morning. Since he had no pajamas, he had slept in his boxers. Sitting up on the bed in the guest room of Kiba's apartment, he surveyed the room. It was mostly Spartan in design. It had a bed, a dresser, and a desk with a light. Sitting in a meditative position, Naruto started to gather nature chakra. Within a minute, he had entered Sannin mode as red-orange eyeshadow-type pigmentation appeared on his eyelids. Nothing wakes you up better than Sannin mode in the morning, Naruto said quietly. He closed his eyes and tried locating Sasuke in the town, but it seems like he had already left. Damn, I was hoping to be able to catch him before he left town, he complained. Ah well, he'll be fine. Naruto tried sensing Kiba in the next room and was a bit surprised at what he saw. Kiba's got a lot of energy built up, it looks ready to burst. So that's demonic energy that devils use. It's almost like chakra in a way, he said to himself. After letting Sannin mode disappear, he began to do some light exercises to warm himself up. As he was in the middle of his push-ups, Kiba knocked on his door. Naruto-san, are you up? He asked through the door. 27-28, yeah. Come in, I'm just warming up. 32, Naruto answered. He stood up and wiped off an invisible sheen of sweat. Kiba opened the door and walked in. Unaffected by his roommate's state of undress, he said politely. The shower is open. I washed your clothes last night so they should be dry by now. If you put your dirty clothes in the washer, I'll make sure they're washed by the time you get out. Naruto flushed in embarrassment. Sorry for all the trouble. I'll make sure to pay you back when I can. Kiba smiled in that polite way of his. He nodded and left the room. 45 minutes later finds a freshly washed Naruto and Kiba walking towards Ko Academy. The first traces of dawn breaching over the horizon. So this group Rias wants me to meet, who are they? Naruto asked as he walked down the road. Officially we are a school club called the Occult Research Club, but it's a cover for Bucho and her peerage. The other members are who you are going to meet. We are all devils, Kiba explained. Peerage? What's that? I think it's better if Bucho explains it to you. She would be able to explain it better, Kiba answered. Ah. The rest of the trip was spent in a comfortable silence. Soon enough, they reached the Occult Research Building and entered. Kiba knocked politely before entering. Shrugging behind him, Naruto entered as well. Era, this is the boy you were talking about, Bucho? Said a girl around Rias' age. She had long black hair tied into a high ponytail, and dark eyes with long lashes. Naruto thought she had an Oni-sama type of look going for her. He blushed as he realized that her breasts were a little bigger than Rias. He certainly is pleasing to the eyes. Ufufa. Yes, Akino, this boy traveled from a different dimension, Rias said to her friend. She turned towards Naruto and spoke. This is my Fukubucho and my queen, peace, Himejima Akino. Nice to meet ya, Akino-chan. Naruto greeted happily. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, you can call me Naruto. It's a pleasure to meet you, Naruto-kun. Ufufa. She greeted back. Naruto smiled widely. He turned towards Rias. So I'm going to be meeting the rest of your devil clan, right? He asked. I suppose that's one way of calling them. They are my peerage. A peerage is like a group of servants that serve under a high-class devil. Those belonging to the Gremory house are born as high-class devils and receive what is known as a set of evil pieces. Rias explained before pulling out a chess piece from her drawer. It was a rook piece, but was an unusual red hue. This is one of my last pieces left, a rook piece. Yuto is a knight, and although I don't have an evil piece in me, since they are my peerage, I am a king. When you say servants, do you mean slaves? Naruto asked cautiously. Rias smiled and answered with no hesitation. Not my peerage, no. Some devils treat them as slaves or as their own personal harem, but not us of the Gremory group. It would be more accurate to call them my subordinates. Naruto nodded in understanding. That makes sense, I guess. Era. All this talk about our world, but we know nothing about yours, Naruto-kun. I don't think that's fair to us, is it? Akino said in an almost teasing manner. Naruto smiled sheepishly before scratching his neck. When you're right, you're right. So go ahead, shoot. Kiba interjected with his own question. You called yourself a shinobi last night. What do you mean by that? Well, I was born in Kanahigaku no Sato, a shinobi village in the Land of Fire. A shinobi is a ninja of the village. They're split into different ranks. Lowest in rank is a genin, right after that is a chunin, an elite ninja, and someone of high rank is a jonin, then there is the ANBU Black Ops Corps. Finally, the most powerful ninja in the village, and the commander of all the shinobi forces is called the Hokage, Naruto explained. All those diplomatic lessons with Erosenin were paying off, he thought to himself. That seems simple enough. What rank were you? Rias asked. Naruto lowered his head in dejection. I was on a training trip for 2.5 years, so I'm still just a genin. He mumbled. How do you go up in rank? Kiba pressed, intent on keeping Naruto focused. Well, to go from genin to chunin there's an exam you have to take, and then they promote you if you show the right skills to be a chunin. I only took the test once, but in the middle of it there was an invasion. We beat the invaders, but the rest of the chunin exam was cancelled. Out of all the people that took the test, only one person managed to become a chunin, and it wasn't me. I don't know if there was a jonin exam or not. In order to be put in ANBU, you have to be picked by either the Hokage or by the ANBU commander. The new Hokage is selected by the current one, the advisors, and the fire daimyo. I see, it's not that different from going to a lower class devil to a higher class devil. Rias seemed to be in deep thought. So is anyone else coming? Naruto asked. There are 3 other members, but you won't be able to meet them until after school. Speaking of which, could you give me some information about yourself? Rias asked with an obviously interested tone. Why? I need some basic information so that I can enroll you into this school. Her tone sounded as if she wasn't requesting it. Very skeptically, Naruto asked why once more. Rias sighed and spoke clearly. Think of it like this, it's a way to gather information about our world without it seeming suspicious. Naruto stayed silent and gave it some thought. I know I'm not the best at information gathering, not like Erosenin was, and she does have a point, but do I really want to go to school? Do I have much other choice? I'll go with it for now, but if it's stupid or a waste of time, I'll stop going. Fine, for now I'll go along, but if it's stupid or something, I'm not staying. I'm doing this for information gathering and to help repay you for the info you've given me, Naruto said. Rias smiled brightly at that. She turned to Kiba. Yuto, can you go and get the registration forms for me? She requested. Kiba, who had been staring out the window, turned towards her, gave a slight nod, and left the room. Seems like he's in a bad mood again, Naruto thought to himself. So Naruto-san, how strong would you say you are? Rias asked, genuinely curious. Naruto pondered on how to answer. He looked her in the eyes. I'm strong, but not the strongest. I still have a lot of training to do. Rias smiled a bit before handling her rook piece, twirling it gently. If you want to get stronger, how about you become my rook? A devil does have certain advantages over a human, she offered. Naruto seemed shocked. That's sudden. You just met me and you're offering me a position like that? Yep. Naruto stared at her in surprise. Give me a little time to think about it. When I came to this world, I never thought I would be offered to become a devil. Hell, I didn't even know what the hell a devil was. Take all the time you need. Rias nodded. The rest of time was spent in a comfortable silence. Naruto mostly wandered the room looking at the various artifacts and paraphernalia, asking random questions. Kiba entered the room, after knocking of course, and handed the documents to Rias. He headed over to the window once again and stared into the distance. After handling all the documents and getting the information from Naruto, weight, height, age, etc., Rias had Akino deliver them to the office and looked at Naruto. She reached into her desk and tossed a package towards him. Naruto caught the package lazily and opened it. Inside was an outfit that looked exactly like Kiba's school uniform. You keep a spare male uniform in your drawer? Nope, I had Kiba measure you in your sleep. Wow. I mean, I would have felt something. I had my familiar cast a sleeping spell on you while he measured you, Rias chirped. Naruto stared at Kiba warily. I trusted you, man. What the hell? He cried as he gave Kiba a look of betrayal. Kiba looked over from the window and gave a small smile. Naruto swore he saw a hint of mischievousness coming from his fellow blonde. That little I'll get him back, Naruto roared mentally. He gave Kiba a scathing look and turned back towards Rias. You had this all planned since I left last night, didn't you? He accused. Rias smiled a way only a devil could. Perhaps Fufu. Naruto sighed wearily. Fine, I guess it doesn't matter right now. You got a changing room or something? Down the hall to the right. After nodding in acknowledgement, he left the room to change. Several minutes later, Naruto came back and dressed in Koa Academy's male uniform, sans his hideate which a plain black bandana replaced. Stupid ass stuffy orange-less asshole, Naruto mumbled to himself. He looked at Rias in the face and bluntly said, I don't like this uniform. Raising an eyebrow, she motioned for him to explain. It's stuffy, uncomfortable to move in, and this shirt absolutely sucks. Plus, there's no orange. And who the hell invented this dumbass jacket? It's the most restricting thing ever, he complained. Well, this school is somewhat flexible on how you wear your uniform, so if it helps you can leave your shirt unbuttoned and your blazer off, Kiba explained. Naruto all but tore off the blazer and ripped open the shirt, exposing his black undershirt. Much better. Now it's not stuffy. Still sucks though. Shaking her head at Naruto's antics, which, oddly enough, made her lower her guard around him, Rias let him vent out his irritation with the uniform. A knock sounded before Akino entered the room. Bucho, he's registered now. Ufufa, she said before laying the completed forms on Rias' desk. Second year Uzumaki Naruto, 176 centimeters, 66 kilograms. Born in Uzumi, Gunma in Kanto. Studied abroad in several countries briefly. Rias read aloud. More or less inconspicuous, nobody from that area attends Koa Academy. Gunma? Kanto? What are those? And what does abroad mean? Naruto questioned. Kanto is a region in Japan, Gunma is a prefecture. Abroad means in a different country. Oh. Naruto nodded as if he understood. I have no idea what the hell she's talking about. I'll just play along for now. Do you understand? Rias asked. Yeah, I got it, he replied without hesitation. If worse comes to worse, I'll just wing it. I managed to get you into Kiba's homeroom. He'll be able to help you get settled. At the mention of his name, Kiba turned and nodded at Naruto. Naruto smiled brightly at Kiba. Yosh! Let's get this damn day over with, Naruto exclaimed as he grabbed Kiba and began to drag him towards the door. Naruto looked over his shoulder and shouted towards Rias. Thanks for everything today. We'll see you later. Rias looked somewhat shocked. Era, that was an interesting way to leave. With him and Icy-kun, things look like they'll be getting louder now. Well, that is if he chooses to join us. Ufufa, Akino commented. I have a good feeling that he will, eventually. He had that look in his eyes that said he wanted, no, that he needed to get stronger. Something must have happened. Something bad, and something powerful. I just hope that whatever it was didn't follow him here. If it did, I fear only Oni-sama and his peerage could stop it. Rias spoke seriously. After a moment of silence filled with a strange tension, Rias broke the silence and smiled towards Akino. I think it's time we get ready for homeroom, don't you? Ufufu, of course, Rias. Akino replied with a laugh. Kiba had managed to shake off Naruto's hand from his arm and was leading him towards his class. So what is homeroom? Naruto asked from behind Kiba. You'll see. Kiba responded coyly. Stupid pretty boys, always stuck with them, Naruto thought to himself. Soon enough, Kiba and Naruto walked to a door labeled 2C. It seems that class is about to start. You wait here until the teacher calls for you. Got it. Kiba turned to walk in and Naruto missed his coy glance. Good luck, Naruto-san. Kiba walked into the classroom with a somewhat distant look. The girls in the class wondered why. For the past couple of days he had been distant, and they were getting worried. He sat at his desk near the window and stared out of it. He had also done that for the past couple days. Don't you think Kiba-sama looks so dreamy when he's distant? One girl asked in hushed tones. Definitely yes. He looks hot, but do you think he's alright? Another questioned. I don't know. The girls stopped their conversations as the teacher walked in. After the morning routine of greeting him, he cleared his throat and asked for everyone's attention. Everyone, it happened on short notice, but we have a new student transferring to this class. He started. Already hushed whispers filled the room. New student? Is it a girl or a boy? What do you think? Generally filled the conversations. Ahem. The teacher cleared his throat and the room quieted. They are from Gunma and they studied abroad in different countries, so life here must be very different, but still I want you to treat them with the kindness Ko Academy is known for. You can come in now. He finished and called outside. The room was silent as the door opened, and in walked a blonde, spiky-haired individual. He was tall, and had tan skin. He wore the school's uniform without the blazer and with the shirt open, exposing his tight black undershirt. His muscles coiled and uncoiled as he walked. He wore a black bandana that flowed behind as he walked. As he reached the podium and turned, all the girls swooned. His eyes were orbs of azure, almost crystalline in nature. His 6 whisker marks, 3 on each side, gave him a gentle but feral look. However, the best feature, according to the girls of the class, was his smile. It was radiant, confident, and practically lit the world for these girls. Yo! I'm Uzumaki Naruto. Nice to meet ya. He spoke with a rough tenor that lit the loins of the girls, and oddly enough, one of the boys on fire. Kaya! Naruto-sama! Half the class shouted. Naruto looked confused and a bit worried. He had seen this before, but where? The teacher had instructed him to take the seat at the far end of the class near the window. As he walked, he spotted Kiba sitting a couple of seats in front of his and called to him. Yo, Kiba. So this is where you sit, huh? He greeted. Kiba turned and gave a small nod. I don't know my way around the school, so you'll help, right? Again a nod from Kiba. Kaya. Can this be? BL boys love, yaoi? Kiba-sama, first that perv Issei dug his claws into you, now it's Naruto-sama? Several girls cried, most of them sported heavy blushes. Naruto eyed them weirdly before nodding at Kiba and moved towards his seat. Sitting down, he surveyed the class. It was a lot different from the Shinobi Academy. Instead of long desks shared by 3 people, it was individual desks. With his enhanced hearing, he could hear all the girls whispering about him, and he was embarrassed by what they had to say. He's so hot. Do you think he's single? Do you think he's got a big D? Kitomi. What? You're all thinking it. Naruto could barely believe these girls. They were talking about him, Uzumaki Naruto, as if he was another Uchiha Sasuke. He now realized where he had seen these strange creatures before. They were like Sasuke's fangirls, back when they were in the academy. This can't be happening. Oh boy, I saw the kind of things they tried with Sasuke. That bastard Kiba knew this. That's twice in one day he got one over on me. I underestimated him. I'll definitely get him back for this. He roared mentally. He spent the entirety of homeroom glaring pettily at Kiba's back. The end of homeroom couldn't come quick enough. As the bell rang, Naruto quickly grabbed Kiba and bolted. Getting to a secluded area, Naruto turned to Kiba. You're an asshole, you know that. You could have warned me about them. Kiba gave Naruto a look as if he was crazy. Naruto-san, I don't know what you're talking about. Naruto gave a withering glare. I'm watching you, he warned. Kiba seemed unperturbed by Naruto's hidden threat. Ahem. I should show you around the school then, he said evenly. Naruto dropped his glare and nodded with enthusiasm. Sure, I'd like to see the rest of this school. He agreed, the previous topic effectively dropped. The rest of the day passed by relatively quickly. Unfortunately for Naruto, he didn't have any packed lunch. However, thanks to his recently acquired fangirls, he managed to avoid starving. However, he may have led a few of them on a couple of times. Now he was heading to the old school building, which he had found out exactly what it was during Kiba's tour, along with Kiba to meet the rest of the Gremory group. As they approached the clubroom, Kiba stopped Naruto. There will be 3 members you haven't met, a brown-haired boy around our age, a blonde girl who's also our age, and a younger white-haired girl, he explained. Why are you telling me this? Naruto asked. I have things I need to do, so I won't be joining you. I figured I should at least tell you what our remaining members looked like, Kiba said. He turned his head after speaking and glared at nothing. He said something to himself that sounded something like Excalibur. Naruto looked worried for his new friend. You sure? Yeah, this is something I have to do myself. I see it's revenge, isn't it? Kiba looked at Naruto in mild shock. How could you tell? Naruto gave a hollow chuckle. I've seen that face on a close friend of mine before. He was obsessed with killing the man who murdered his clan, his brother. Did he get his revenge? Kiba asked, eager to know if his mission was possible, even though the circumstances were different. He did, but he betrayed his friends and comrades to get the power to do it. He tried to kill me too, even after admitting I was, truly, his best friend. He went to a madman who was only interested in using him. Kiba's expression grew strained. I won't stop you from your revenge, I have no right. However, I wish you wouldn't throw away your bonds so easily. Kiba hesitated. You've given me something to think about, but I will not give up this mission of mine. Thank you for telling me this. Go and meet everyone else, Kiba said before using his night speed and dashed away. Naruto looked at Kiba sadly as he dashed away. Deciding to put it off for now, he turned towards the room and entered. As he entered, he saw the white-haired girl on one of the sofas eating what looked to be snacks, but he couldn't see her face. Rias was at her desk, Akino standing off to the side as usual. Opposite the white-haired girl were two people. One of them was a boy his age with brown eyes and brown hair that seemed to resemble Sasuke's hair, only bigger and less like a chicken's ass. The other was a girl with long light blonde hair and light green eyes. Ah, Naruto-san. Glad you made it. Where's Yuto? Rias greeted. Kiba? He said he had things to take care of. So, who are these guys? Naruto said with a warm smile. The brown-haired boy stood and bowed. Hi to Issei, he said before standing straight again. But you can call me Issei. Nice to meet you, I'm Bucho's pawn. The blonde girl also stood up and bowed. I'm Asia Argento, you can call me Asia. Bucho-san made me her bishop. The white-haired girl turned but didn't stand. She had golden-colored eyes and a blank expression. Her hair had a small black cat-themed hairpin. Tuja Kaneko, Rook, she said softly. Deciding to make a grand introduction similar to Jiraiya, Naruto struck a kabuki pose. I am the man known from the far east to the far west. Men revere me and women love me. I am the man who has trained at MT Mayaboku and survived. I am the Gamma Sannin Uzumaki Naruto. At your service, he announced with enthusiasm. The rest of the group was stunned, before Akino smiled. Era, such a boisterous introduction, are you sure you're a sage? Ufufu. Akino teased. Hey, I trained hard to be a sage. Naruto argued back, dropping his pose. Suddenly he began crying crocodile tears. All those nights eating bugs and that damn stick. It was truly hell. Sannin, do you use senjutsu? Kaneko asked suddenly, her interest piqued. Naruto stared at her in shock for a second. You know about senjutsu? Kaneko nodded. She looked at him intensely before going back to her treat. Naruto stared for a moment longer before he wrote her actions off as something apparently normal. I know, Naruto-san? Issei called out. Just call me Naruto. What's up? Bucho said you were a shinobi, are you? Damn right I am, and a good one too to Bayo. Naruto replied happily. Do you think you can show us a ninja technique? Issei asked excitedly. His eyes had a glimmer in them. Era, I think that's a good idea. Akino joined. Yes, I think so too. Rias inputted. Nin, Kaneko said quietly. Naruto rubbed the back of his neck sheepishly. I guess something simple wouldn't hurt, he said. He put his hands together in a familiar cross-hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He shouted, and immediately 10 copies of himself appeared around Issei, Asia, and Kaneko. Whoa! Naruto, this is awesome. Are they real? Issei asked. One of the Naruto clones clapped him on the shoulder. Damn right we are. That's so useful, Naruto-san, Asia told him. It's more useful than pervy Issei-senpai. Kaneko commented somewhat coldly to Issei. I'm sorry for being such a pervert, Kaneko-sama. Issei cried crocodile tears. Haha. You're funny, Issei, I like you. Naruto laughed. Thank you for your kindness, Naruto-sama. Issei continued to cry, only in gratitude this time. Rias looked at the clone nearest her and touched it, confirming that they were solid. Is that all you can do, Naruto-san? She asked. Naruto dispelled his clones and spoke. Can you drop the honorific Rias-chan? It sounds weird coming from you, but no, I can do a lot more than that. He missed the look of shock from Icy. Fufu, alright Naruto. Have you considered my offer? Naruto looked Rias in the eyes before sighing. For now, I'm gonna have to say no. I mean, I just got here and all. I want to get settled in before making a huge decision. So that's my answer. Rias nodded, albeit somewhat sadly. I understand, the offer is always open, she said with a smile. Thanks. You don't mind if I stick around your group for a while though, right? He asked. Of course not, but I would like it if you could help out around here. Seems fair, sure. I'll do what I can. Good to hear, Rias said ecstatically. I need to loosen up. Anybody up for a spar? Naruto asked as he began stretching his arms. No one responded for a moment, before Kaneko and Akino stepped forward. I will fight, Naruto-senpai. Era, this seems like fun. Ufufu. Rias sighed before checking the time. Deciding that enough time had passed since the end of school, she gave the go-ahead. After moving to the courtyard, and switching back into his jumpsuit and high 8, Naruto stood opposite of Kaneko and Akino. Alright, come at me with all you got. He goaded. As long as you don't seriously hurt each other, everything is fair game. Begin whenever you're ready, Rias said. A moment of stillness covered the battlefield. Some unseen signal flared and Kaneko rushed Naruto, intent on punching him. She raised her fist and swung with plenty of force. An explosion of dust and dirt covered the field. She had felt her hand connect and felt confident she had hit him. As the dust settled, she widened her eyes. Naruto had stopped her fist with one hand with what seemed like no effort. He looked at her and smiled. Come on, Nico-chan. I said everything you got. He teased before tossing her away and dodging a bolt of lightning. That's interesting. A lightning user. Sorry to say, Akino-chan, but I have the advantage, Naruto told her before casting some hand seals. Futon, Repusho. He shouted and shot a blast of pressurized wind at her. Akino, not expecting such an attack, only barely dodged. She righted herself and spoke lightly. Era, seems like I underestimated you. Ufufu. It won't happen again, she said before she conjured more lightning and cast it towards Naruto. It appears that her Sato type has come out. Naruto backflipped before he turned and blocked Kaneko's strike. I fight multiple opponents all the time. It'll take more than that to get me by surprise, he said. He leaped back and performed his signature hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He made a single clone and had it engage Akino while he had someone on one time with Rias, Rook. Come on, Kaneko-chan, when you punch you have to put all your weight behind it while not leaving any opening, he told her as if he was training her. Kaneko didn't answer but seemed to shift her stance a little before she launched at him. Following his advice and putting her full weight behind her punch, she struck out. For the first time since they began, Naruto was forced to dodge her punch. As she soared by him, she struck the ground and created a large crater. Now that is a punch. You still left yourself wide open, but damn, if that had hit me I'd definitely have a couple of broken bones, he complimented. Kaneko gave a small unnoticeable blush at his praise. Thank you, Naruto-senpai. After all this we'll start training. How's that sound? I'll turn you into a kick-ass rook, he offered. Kaneko looked at him strangely before nodding. Thank you, Naruto-senpai, she said before charging him once more. At the same time, Naruto's clone was facing off against Akino. Era, am I being underestimated? Akino asked. The clone shook his head. Not at all, boss is just trying to teach Nico-chan some things. He's seen what she's capable of, now he's trying out her potential. Besides, I may be a clone but I was made tougher than other clones, he told her. Ufufu, then let's get started, she said as she launched a bolt of lightning towards Naruto. Naruto sidestepped and began to cast hand seals. Futon de Tapa, he shouted as he gathered wind chakra in his throat and let it roar. Caught off guard by the strong wind current, Akino was launched in the air. Her skirt flapped wildly, revealing her lacy black underwear. Naruto blushed but refused to take his eyes off her now flying form. Taking a kunai and running a sliver of wind chakra into it, he tossed it at her. Dodging it just barely, Akino was surprised when a large portion of her uniform was torn. Looking at her uniform, she took her eyes off Naruto's clone. That split second of inattentiveness cost her. From seemingly out of nowhere, a punch struck her side, sending her tumbling back towards the ground at high speeds. Crashing on the ground, she immediately stood back up. Her uniform had been ripped in several places now, revealing a lacy black bra to match. Ofufu, we've only met today and you're already stripping me, Naruto-kun. My, how bold. She teased. Naruto blushed hotly before responding. That's not it. Your clothes are just too flimsy, that's all. He said quickly, attempting to hide his embarrassment. Akino gathered more lightning and launched it towards Naruto. Naruto quickly dodged and launched another wind-laced kunai. Expecting such a response, Akino easily made a wide dodge. Ofufu, now that I've seen your trick, it won't be so easy to get me again. We'll see, he said as ran towards her. Using the basics of Frog Fu, Naruto shot his left fist faster than Akino could respond. It made a direct connection and sent her soaring across the field. Flipping gracefully, Akino righted herself in midair and hovered. Era, you were so quick to pound your flesh into mine I could hardly make such a comeback, she said in a seductive tone. Naruto blushed hotly from ear to ear. Meanwhile, Icy could only stare in awe. Naruto is so strong. He's even beating Akino-san. Rias chuckled lightly. Although, neither of them are going all out. Icy turned towards Rias. How strong do you think Naruto is, Bucho? He asked. Rias sighed before putting on an intense face. Personally, if we were to fight him, I think we would lose. I can sense his power, and although it's different from a devil's magic, he has a massive store of power. It's easily comparable to a very high-class devil, higher than myself at the very least. Whoa! That's too much! Icy exclaimed. Asia nodded her head. I'm glad Naruto-san is a very kind person. Rias smiled towards Asia. As am I, Asia-chan. As am I. The fight had started escalating to close-quarters battle. Akino wielded her element like a blade, while Naruto held to his wind-laced kunai. They started towards each other, but Akino glanced over in a different direction. Era, it seems the original is finished with Kaneko-chan. Shall we call this a draw? Akino offered as she dispelled her lightning. The Naruto clone looked in the distance to see the original walking side by side with Kaneko talking animatedly, the latter of whom seemed to be paying rapt attention. He sighed and shrugged. I guess so. Thanks for the spar, Akino-chan, it was fun. Ofufu, likewise. Naruto smirked and dispelled just as the original was reaching their location. Unbeknownst to the Gremory, every weapon the clone used dispelled as well. And then there was this one time when I was 10, I managed to dye all of the teachers' heads blonde. It was glorious. Kaneko nodded. Funny, senpai. Era, looks like Kaneko-chan has warmed up to you already, Akino said to them as they approached. Hey Akino-chan. Great battle. Too bad we couldn't finish. Next time I want to face you personally. Ofufu, it's a date then. They walked the short distance back to the group to see Icy's jaw hanging as well as a look of surprise from Rias and Asia. That was awesome! Icy shouted. You were great, Naruto-san. Asia complimented. To be able to handle Akino so easily, very impressive. Rias nodded approvingly. Naruto rubbed the back of his neck in embarrassment, and chuckled. Well, I haven't had a chance to spar with comrades in a while. So I had a little fun. Still, Akino herself is a very powerful devil. To take her on, even as a clone, and come out unscathed is just short of overwhelming. Akino decided to add her own input. Ofufu, oh yes. He really showed that he could have dominated me if he had wanted to, she said almost lustfully. Naruto blushed at her teasing. The girls back in Konoha had never been such an open flirt to him. It was staggering to say the least. Rias giggled at Naruto's reaction, she thought it was cute. She called out to Naruto to get his attention. Naruto, could you come here a moment? I want to show you some of the work that devils do. You can help out with some of the basic tasks. Naruto walked towards her and nodded. So what kind of jobs do you take? He asked. I figured you could help us pass out these leaflets to people, for now at least. Since normal people have lost the ability to draw magic circles to summon us, we give these pre-drawn circles to them instead. She explained. Since you don't know the area Icy-kun, can you show Naruto around? Of course, Bucho. It'd be a help have Naruto help us, seeing as it's mostly my job. Icy responded in excitement. Fufu, you're certainly enthusiastic. Rias complimented. Yosh. Alright, let's go. Teach me all you can, Icy. Naruto also became very excited. The duo of boisterous men soon left, with much enthusiasm no less, leaving the quartet of women to discuss their latest acquaintance. So, Akino, what do you think? Rias asked. Ufufa. He is very powerful. I was attacking quite seriously and he was barely affected. If you asked me, if he were truly to go all out, none of us would survive. He might even be able to fight Seroge-sama and win, Akino confessed. Naruto-senpai is very strong, Kaneko inputted. I see, it's as I thought. Naruto-san would have been a great help versus against Razor-sama, right? Asia asked. Indeed, Asia-chan, but what's past is past. No doubt he will be a great help to us later. His shinobi techniques are interesting to say the least. I wonder what else he can do. I just wish he had accepted my offer now. Oh well. She sighed. Naruto-senpai said he'll train me. I'm happy to have a teacher, Kaneko said softly. Rias looked at Kaneko with what could only be described as love for a younger sibling. We're happy for you, Kaneko-chan. I know that it's been hard finding someone to train and spar with you. Kaneko nodded at Rias' statement. Well then, it's time to work. Come on, let's go, Rias happily stated. Hi, Bucho. Everyone chorused. Several hours had passed before Naruto returned with IC. They entered the room talking animatedly. You're very popular, Naruto. I never thought that you'd hand out that many leaflets so quickly, IC complimented. Yeah, me either. Strange how most of them were women though. Naruto, I think they might have liked you. I guess, but why were they blushing? They liked you. Haven't you ever had a girlfriend? Not really. When I was a kid most of the girls didn't like me. Really? But you're a handsome boy. Like Kiba. Are you hitting on me, Icy? I don't swing that way, besides Kiba's more of a pretty boy if you asked me. What? Of course not. It's true though. I've already heard rumors about you from the girls in my class. They're already calling you and Kiba the blonde gentleman. Blonde gentleman? That's lame, Naruto exclaimed, suddenly affronted. Neither had noticed the amused looks of both Akino and Rias. Ahem, I take it the job went well? Rias asked. Sorry, hehe. Yeah, they seemed very excited to get a handout from me. Guess they'll be disappointed when I don't show up then. Fufu, seems like. Anyways, I have something to discuss with you. Shoot. Do you any money? She asked the obvious. Ah, that's kinda obvious. I have no money from this world, I already checked. Which means you have no means of supporting yourself, correct? Well, I have some ideas on how to make some money, I just have to make sure I've got what I need, but for now, nope. Naruto told her before rubbing his neck. Since you're not a devil, you cannot receive payments such as we do, so I've decided to compensate you for your time, Rias said as she tossed an envelope at him. Inside was 30,000 yen and a key. That key opens an apartment a couple of blocks from Ayase-kun's home. The first month has been paid and that money is for food. The monthly rent, however, is up to you to make up. Naruto stared at the package in wonder. This girl is a really nice person. I have to make sure to pay her back, he thought to himself. As Rias was about to continue speaking, a small raven appeared from the window. A stray devil has appeared in Rias Gremory's territory. I ask that you please eliminate it, a male voice escaped from the small bird. Rias blinked, before standing and moving quickly towards Akino. Located Akino, quickly. Akino looked serious and nodded. Hi, Bucho. Naruto turned to Icy and asked a question. What's a stray devil? Icy looked surprised that Naruto asked him but responded quickly. They're devils that have abandoned their master, or killed them. So we hunt them before they cause trouble for humans. Naruto nodded in understanding. I see, so they're almost like missing Nin, he mumbled to himself. Icy eyed him weirdly but Naruto waved him off. Later, he said simply. Rias turned towards Naruto. Since Yuto is absent, I ask that you join us and provide backup, she asked seriously. Naruto nodded quickly. Sure, I would have gone anyways. I want to learn all about this world. Rias smiled and thanked him. Kaneko, who had been back in her previous position eating snacks once again, turned towards Naruto and offered him some. Naruto smiled and accepted the offer. Thanks, Nico-chan, he said as he rubbed her head. Kaneko seemed to relax into his hand. I've located it, Bucho, Akino announced. Great. Everyone, let's move out. Standing outside an abandoned warehouse, the second time for the Gremory group, the team stood. This is where it is, Akino confirmed. Naruto tapped into Kurama's chakra, just barely enough to feel emotions. Luckily, he was behind the group of devils. Holy fuck! That's some seriously fucked up thing in there, he thought to himself, the intense negative emotion causing him to curse in surprise. Bucho! Icy called out. Right, I approve, Rias responded. Yash! Promotion, Queen, Icy called, and he seemed to glow for a brief instant. Naruto made a mental note to ask later. Making a cross seal, he summoned a clone. Nodding at the original, the clone dashed into some nearby trees. Turning towards the group, he smiled sheepishly. Just in case. Well, let's go in, Rias told them as she walked inside the building. The rest soon followed. Several minutes later found the group inside a large spacious room. Gah! This smell is blood, Naruto said in disgust. I hear something. My next meal? Smells ripe. Perfect for crunching. Gihihai. A deep voice boomed. Naruto tensed and slid into a battle stance. Shit. It's big and close by, he cursed. The beast that came out from behind the wall was mortifying. It was abnormally large. A broad torso accompanied by a pair of strong legs. Large scales covered most of its body. When Naruto looked closely, a long tail as thick as a tree trunk swayed behind it. Looking up, the group stared in disgust at the ogre-like face. Naruto looked it in the eye and smirked. You are one ugly motherfudash. It reacted quickly. It threw a rock boulder near its feet using the massive tail behind it. Naruto reacted even quicker. Summoning a clone wordlessly, he instantly made a Rasengan and smashed it into the boulder, grinding it into pieces. I am Gengar, he shouted, and you are my prey. Akino, Rias shouted. Hi. Lightning flared from her hand menacingly. Era, I can't take you too lightly now, but let's try to get along, ufufu. She stuck out her hand and fired a large bolt of electricity towards Gengar. Rias smirked as she saw Akino's attack appear to hit. Speaking to Naruto, she told him, Akino is known as the priestess of thunder within the devil community. Pitiful. That barely stung. Gihihai. You're pathetic. Gengar laughed as the electricity bounced off his scales. Akino-san, we have to get past the scales, Icy shouted. No shit. Come on, Kaneko-chan, let's skin this guy. Kaneko nodded at Naruto before tightening her gloves. Follow my lead, that good for you, Rias? Naruto asked. Rias nodded. Go for it. Roger. Distract him, I'll try and get through his scales. Hi. Kaneko launched herself, fist poised, and smashed into Gengar's chest. Gengar slid back several feet. Oh, that tickled. You're not the only rook. Gihihai, he said as he knocked Kaneko backwards, unaware of Naruto charging towards his backside. Watch your back, asshole. Rasengan! Naruto shouted as he drilled his spinning orb of chakra into the devil's back. Oof! Gengar shouted as he felt the jutsu drill past his scales into his flesh. Moving away quickly, Naruto called out. Akino-chan, now's your chance. Hi. I really hate being underestimated, you know. Having you call my attack pathetic, I just can't hold back. Cry for me, yes? She said with a sadistic glint in her eyes. Gathering an extreme amount of lightning in her hands, she launched at the exposed portion of Gengar's back. Gah! He cried. Naruto wondered if maybe since it always had such tough scales, if it had a low pain threshold. Ufufu. That's it, surely you have more energy than that? How about some more? Yuwa! Naruto eyed her warily. Looking at Rias, she answered his unasked question. Akino is also the ultimate sadist. Scary. You have no idea, Naruto-san. Icy agreed. What the hell do you do anyways? I was getting ready to use gift on one of you. It lets me transfer my power to someone else. Awesome. So is that all you can do? Well, my partner is still not answering me, so this is all I can do for now. Partner? Naruto asked, ignoring the cries from the devil. Somehow, they had moved to the far end of the warehouse without him noticing. He's the dragon sealed up in my left arm, my sacred gear. Well, tell me about it later, when we're not on the job, hee hee. Right. By now, Akino looked as if she was finished with the stray devil. She was walking towards the fallen monster. Monster-san. It looks like you're all done. I would finish you now, but I'll leave it for my master. She all but gloated. Naruto looked at her with a meek expression. She must have been pissed when he called her pathetic. Naruto tensed as he saw the tail twitch and then swing at her. Akino! He tried to warn. He ran towards her. I can't make it. I have to dispel that clone. Time slowed for a moment as the tail swung at the unaware Akino. Naruto sped towards her with all his speed. Akino turned in shock and stared at the tail that was less than a foot from her face. She couldn't dodge at that speed and she had no time to defend. Bracing herself as well as she could, she waited. Not a chance! Naruto screamed. He was in front of Akino, holding back the tail with his hand. His head was hung low. He seemed to be trembling with anger. You bastard! Naruto raised his head to show golden eyes filled with anger. Pushing the monster back single-handedly, Naruto glared at it. I'm pissed right now. He made 2 clones and had them make a Rasengan in each hand, which then grew to enormous sizes. Go, he said simply. The 2 clones dashed at incredible speeds. Senpo, Cho Udama Rasengan. Both of them cried. Gengar managed to dodge one, albeit barely, but was struck head-on by the second. Gah! A Senjutsu wielder! Here? I've never heard of one here! He screamed at Naruto. I'm new in town. It doesn't matter anyways, you're finished. Naruto replied as he created another 2 clones. He held out his hand and the room was filled with an ominous ringing sound. Akino took this chance to make a wisely made retreat. Gengar thrashed as the sound drilled into his cranium. Ah! This damn ringing! What are you doing? Naruto was holding a large spinning orb with 4 blades jutting out. Reaching behind him, he gave a cold glare. Everyone move back, this will get dangerous. Futon, Rasen Shuriken, he said as he launched the powerful jutsu from his hand. He threw it. Icy shouted in surprise as Kaneko dragged him away. The rotating sphere of destructive power hurled towards the monster at frightening speeds. No! Damn you! Who are you? The beast cried as the attack closed the very small distance quickly. Naruto spoke in a cocky tone. The name's Uzumaki Naruto, remember it in hell, bastard. After saying his piece, he dashed as far as he could from the stray devil. When the attack impacted, it expanded until it encompassed the entirety of Gengar. It sliced through his tough scales like a hot knife through butter and bifurcated him before detonating. The Rias group stared in shock as Naruto's attack literally disintegrated the lower half of and made the top fly towards the group. Gwa! Gengar cried as he landed in a heap at Rias' feet. Rias glared at him and raised her hand. I have full faith in my servant's ability, but what you did is still unforgivable. Perish, she said as she wielded her powers of destruction and eradicated what was left of Gengar. Naruto ran over to the group. He had already let the nature chakra seep back into the earth. Naruto-kun, you have my genuine gratitude. Although, I would have been fine, a scratch at worst, Akino told him. Naruto scratched his head sheepishly. Sorry. I have made such good friendships with you all, I just reacted, he said, forcing a smile. Damn, I overreacted. We're not at war here, I gotta remember that. Akino gave him a calculating look for a moment, before smiling. Of course. No harm done, as you can see. Ufufu, she said amicably. Indeed, Naruto. I appreciate your help. Alright, mission complete, Rias said cheerfully. Icy looked down in dejection. In the end I was useless, he seemed to cry. Naruto patted him awkwardly on his shoulder. There's always next time. Somehow, Icy seemed to get even more depressed. Asia just gave him an encouraging smile. Later that night, Naruto lay down on his relatively small mattress. Icy had taken the time to show him to his new apartment, and now Naruto was left staring at his Spartan-style room. Things got pretty crazy today, Tobeo, he mumbled to himself. That Akino likes to tease me. Asia-chan pretty shy, but really nice. Kinda reminds me of Hinata. Kaneko-chan is another weird one, but she seems to know about Senjutsu, and that's another thing. The nature energy feels weird here. There are times when I feel this dark energy flow within me, kinda like Bija chakra but not as strong. Other times it feels really light and airy. Like a light breeze. It's so weird. I got stuck with another pervert. But he doesn't seem like a bad guy. Hehe, you would be proud, any sure show, master? Naruto said somberly. Looking out the window, his thoughts turned towards his only companion in this journey. Sasuke, I wonder what you've discovered so far. Probably something cool, tch. Team. Turning over, he slowly closed his eyes. Good night. Did you do what I asked? Hi, the Gremory group came as you said they would. And? Well, the thing is, there was an anomaly. Anomaly? Hi, someone else came with the group. Someone powerful. Could it be another Longinus? I don't know, sir. I could hardly see him move. However, I did manage to record several of his abilities. Oh? He can utilize senjutsu to a degree I've only ever seen in Nikomata, no, even better. I believe he is a perfect senjutsu user. Interesting. So in the end, Gengar proved his worth, for a devil at least. Ufufu. Hi. With this new data I believe that I could come up with several counter strategies. Good work. Now be gone. Hi Kokabile-sama. The next 2 days passed quickly for Naruto. Going to school had been an interesting experience for him. After getting used to him having fangirls, school was very informative. Naruto had never been very good with mathematics, mostly due to him skipping every chance he got, but both history and language managed to keep him awake. Although English was difficult for him, he liked it. He swore to himself that he would have it mastered by the end of the year. On the supernatural side of things, Kiba had become a recluse. He hadn't responded to any of Naruto's prodding in class and seemed extremely distant in the clubroom. Icy seemed to be extremely embarrassed around Rias. Every time Naruto saw him glance at Rias, he would blush and look away quickly. He asked her about it, but all she said was I had to disperse his built-up dragon energy. And that left him even more confused. So far Naruto had only had the opportunity to train once, and it was more for Kaneko than himself. In the end, although Kaneko's form was improving, Naruto did little else than dodge. He felt a little disappointed but shrugged it off. On his lunch break, since Kiba was all but an invalid at this point and to avoid his fangirls, he had taken to eating lunch on the tip of one of the spires, balancing on a slab of rock he pilfered from the warehouse. Luckily for him, the only people capable of spotting him were the Gremory group. Currently Naruto was sitting down on one of the sofas next to Kaneko. Akino and Kiba were both out on jobs. In front of him stood Asia and Icy with heads hung low facing an irate Rias. I cannot believe you two. What exactly were you two doing in that closet? Rias demanded. It was that as I was, Asia stuttered. Naruto wondered if she hadn't been scolded by Rias before. It was all my fault, Icy exclaimed. Oh? Rias asked in a tone that said I don't believe you. Hi. Rias looked at Icy and made a face. He had his head down so he couldn't see, but Naruto saw the pain in her expression. He had seen it in Sakura's face many times. I knew it, she loves him, he told himself. I just wanted. Enough. Rias turned away and said, I don't want to hear your excuses, you're dismissed for the day, both of you. But. Now I see, she said definitively. Turning to leave, Naruto saw tears well up in Asia's eyes. Icy looked sad as well. They both left without another word. Naruto glanced at Rias and saw her shaking a bit. He called to her. Rias-chan, I'll be taking the day off today. I'll make sure those two make it home safely. At her nod he left the room. After the door closed he heard slight sniffing and knew he had made the right choice. She was too proud to cry in front of him. He ran to catch up to the pair of teens. After catching up, he called out to them. You too, he said. The pair of dejected devils turned towards him. Oh, Naruto. It's you, Icy said in an almost dead tone. Oh, none of that. I know it seemed like Rias-chan was pissed at you. But you have to admit. It didn't look too good when she found you in the closet and Asia straddling you. She just let her feelings run wild and well, you know. He told them. I'm not so sure, Naruto. I made Bucho really mad at me, I feel pretty bad. Ano, me too. Bucho-san has never been disappointed in me like that, Asia admitted. Naruto sighed before rubbing the back of his neck. Just let her cool off and then try to explain yourself later. For now, I want to go meet your parents, Icy, so cheer up. Icy also sighed. I goozoof. He was cut off as Naruto punched his gut. He glared at Naruto. What the hell was that for? Naruto smirked. Go ahead. Do it. Punch me back. What? Punch me. Boo. Punch me! A loud resounding flesh-hitting flesh sound rang. Icy had his fist connected to Naruto's cheek, and he was breathing deeply. Asia stood to the side with her hand to her mouth in shock. Naruto's face was turned slightly and he was smirking. Feel better? He asked. After calming down, Icy pulled his fist away and looked at it. Surprisingly, yeah, he admitted. Anger is more useful than despair. An old friend of mine told me that once, Naruto said. He turned towards Asia. You want to try too? He asked. Asia stared in shock for what seemed like a minute, before breaking out into a fit of giggles. I'm so sorry, she managed. Yo, you scared me a little, she continued between fits. I see. She finished giggling and smiled brightly. No thank you, Naruto-san. Seeing you help Icy-san is enough for me. Naruto laughed boisterously. Good to hear. So now Icy. Off to your place, he declared. Icy nodded and led the way, suddenly more chipper. When they reached his house and Icy grabbed the handle, both he and Asia froze. Naruto looked at them with worry as they began to shake. Icy suddenly threw open the door and rushed in. Naruto followed him closely, although he forgot to take off his sandals. They rushed to the kitchen but saw nothing. Then they heard laughter from the living room. Icy rushed over and saw two strange girls and his mother who was laughing. Naruto joined him as Icy's mother spoke up. And this is a picture of Icy when he was in primary school. Look! This is the picture when his shorts got ripped at the swimming pool. It was very troublesome. He went to the pool slide with his shorts ripped. Oh, Oka-san? Icy stammered. His mother turned as she noticed the group. Naruto realized that Asia had joined them shortly before Icy spoke. His mother smiled and said, Oh, Icy. Welcome back. What happened? You look pale. And who's your friend? How? I'm so glad. Icy breathed a sigh of relief. Naruto looked on as Asia sat on the ground relieved, and Icy seemed to calm down. He looked at Icy's mom. Hey. I'm Uzumaki Naruto. I'm new to Icy's school and joined his club. Nice to meet ya. She smiled and welcomed him to her home. Naruto looked around and finally looked at Icy's guests. Both were women around his age. One had chestnut brown hair while the other had blue hair and a green streak. Both of them wore crosses on their chests and were very beautiful. Naruto, however, didn't relax. He could tell they were trained combatants. Are these the people from the church that Rias-chan was talking about? He asked himself. The brunette smiled at Icy. Hello? Hayata Ise-kun, she said. Naruto paid little attention to the conversation as he eyed the other girl. She had a massive weapon wrapped in cloth and Naruto could practically feel the deadliness from it. He looked back over at Icy and heard the girl say something. Long time no see, Icy-kun. Did you mistake me for a boy? It can't be helped since I was a troublemaker just like the boys. But it seems like we both have changed in the time we didn't see each other. Really, you can't tell what can happen in a reunion. Naruto narrowed his eyes. She knows they're devils. Naruto walked down the street calmly. He had left soon after Rias returned and embraced Icy and Asia. She thanked him and he had left. Naruto wasn't the best at tracking, at least without Sage Mode or Karamas, who was still napping, chakra, but even he could sense the animosity that had been following him since he left. Naruto grew a tick mark and turned around. Will you stop following me already? He shouted. I told you he would notice Zenobia. A voice sounded. I thought it would take him longer, Irina. He looks like an idiot. Another said. If you're gonna insult me, say it to my face. Naruto said. He was growing more irritated as they spoke. The duo walked out from behind the corner. The brunette, Irina, if Naruto recalled, and the brunette stood in front of him. Oh, it's you two. What do you want? I'm busy, Naruto said dismissively. We want to know what a human is doing in league with devils, the brunette said. Who are you? He asked her, ignoring her previous statement. My name is Zenobia. Zenavida? Naruto repeated, obviously confused. Zenobia! Exia no sixei! She shouted. Hi. What did you say you wanted, Zenobia? Zenobia scowled at him. Why are you with the devils? Naruto stared back. Because they're my friends, duh. He said as if it was the simplest thing in the world. But they're devils. Devils are evil. Naruto glared coldly, his eyes like a piercing icy wind. The two girls stepped back at the ferocity of his glare. I have seen some of the most evil beings in existence. They experimented on people just to sate their own curiosity. They killed, just because it was fun. Treated people like nothing more than pawns. He whispered every word, yet the duo could clearly hear every word. Not only that, every one of those fuckers was a human. He shouted at them. Zenovia's eyes widened as she stared into Naruto's eyes. His eyes raged with the ferocity of a tempest. Irina was content with staring at the ground. Naruto continued his tirade. I don't believe in that bullshit, that someone is good because they're holy or evil because they're devils. I don't believe in fate, and I can decide to be friends with whoever the fuck I want to be with. Now if that's all, I'm leaving. I have school in the morning. Having said his piece, Naruto walked away, the heavy atmosphere surrounding him dispersed. Shaking out of their stupor, Zenovia called out to him again. Wait a minute, yo, but she was cut off as a loud noise rumbled through the area. Naruto turned and glanced at them. His eyes widened as he saw an unbelievable sight. The two proud people from the church stood in embarrassment. Was that your stomach? He asked. Judging by their blushes, he figured he was right. He sighed. Decisions to hell with it. I can't in good conscience leave them to starve. He turned towards them again as they tried to leave unnoticed. Oh, if you're hungry, you can eat at my place, he offered. Immediately they were on their knees in front of him. Is this the work of Kami-sama? Will you really give us food? Irina asked, tears in her eyes. Zenovia's personality seemed to turn a complete 180. I'm sorry about before. Truly you are blessed by Kami-sama, she said. Naruto's sweat dropped at their attitude. Hi. Just follow me, he said. Naruto went to the kitchen to make a quick meal as Irina and Zenovia sat on his decent-sized couch. They looked around and saw his lack of many things personal, just a regular TV, which Naruto didn't know how to use, so it was left untouched, a coffee table and a small dinner table. Zenovia turned towards Irina. Isn't it strange? Not a single picture. Irina hesitated to answer. I suppose. But he is treating us to dinner, so. Is ramen okay? It's the quickest to make. Naruto called from the kitchen. Hi, we're your guests so we can't complain, Irina answered. There was a short pause before he responded. Alright, I guess. Several minutes later Naruto handed them their ramen. So this is ramen. I had no idea Japanese food could taste so good, Zenovia complimented as she wolfed down her ramen. Irina ate her ramen at a more sedated pace. She turned towards him. Ne Uzumaki-san. Naruto is fine. Naruto-san, Ano, where are your parents? She asked carefully. Naruto never stopped eating. They're dead, he said simply. Oh. I'm so sorry. Irina apologized, she felt bad for bringing the topic up. Zenovia stayed silent and finished her ramen. No, it's fine. They died when I was a baby, they died to protect me. Do I miss them? Yes, sure, but I'm not sad. I understand their sacrifice, and I'm glad to be the son of two heroes. Naruto smiled, pride emanated from him. Anyways. He glanced at the clock on the wall. It's late. There's a spare room down the hall. One of you can take that room and the other can take mine, if you want anyways. Having just finished her ramen, Irina started shaking her head. No, we couldn't impose. Zenovia nodded in agreement. Naruto shrugged. It's not really a problem. I don't mind really. Zenovia looked at Irina, who looked back. They turned to him. We appreciate your hospitality. They had stood and bowed. Naruto waved it off. I've never really had guests stay over before, but make yourselves at home. Bathroom's down there, he said, pointing down the hallway. After they went to the bathroom, he created a clone. Nodding at its creator, it left to go inform Rias. He sighed and retrieved a blanket and pillow from the linen closet. He made sure to grab the kunai he kept below his pillow and the scroll from his room. After sending another clone to clean the dishes, he sat up on the couch and began to meditate. As he slowly began losing his sense of reality, he began to go deeper into his subconscious. Normally he could do this quickly, but he wanted to do it this way for a more stable connection. He delved into his mindscape. Naruto opened his eyes and saw Kurama in front of him asleep. Walking through the open gate, Naruto stepped up to Kurama and placed his hand on his nose. He breathed deeply and spoke quietly. Kurama, I don't know why you're sleeping so much, but I want you to know I'm still here. You're one of my last precious comrades from Konoha, he said softly. So rest up. You earned it. Naruto said and was about to turn away when he noticed something peculiar by Kurama's feet. When he got to it, he gaped. Laying there sleeping were miniature versions of all the bijou. They were siphoning energy from Kurama slowly but steadily. Well, I guess that explains a lot. He chuckled. Hee hee. Maybe this makes Kurama a mother feeding her young? Whoa! He said as he dodged one of Kurama's tail. I resent that, Naruto, Kurama said softly. You're awake. Naruto smiled. I've been awake several times, you're just too dense to notice. I saw you meet that devil boy and his master, he admitted. That Gengar bastard didn't need Sannin mode Naruto. That Akino girl would have been fine. He scolded lightly. Naruto looked down. I know, but I saw Madara kill everyone Shikamaru, Ino, Chuji, Sakura-chan. He paused. Tears began to fall. Niji, Sai, Lee, Tenten, Kiba, Shino, Hinata-chan too. Tears streamed down his face. I just reacted. I couldn't save them. I don't want to go through that again. Naruto was shaking as he wept for the comrades he lost. Kurama gazed at Naruto sadly. You're right, we couldn't save them. I couldn't help my brethren either. Madara took it all. All I can do is nurture these fragments of their chakra and help them grow. I doubt they'll be the same as they were in terms of personality or power, but hopefully, when they finish growing we can be close again. He lamented. Naruto wiped away the tears in his eyes. He looked at the Kyuubi curiously. Are you saying what I think you're saying? Kurama gave a half smirk. I don't know what'll happen. You're more like the old man than you realize. Naruto's eyes widened. That's insane. I mean, wow. Kurama started dozing off. I need more rest, Naruto. These bastards are pretty greedy. Thank you for coming. Try not to die over here, okay? Yeah, I got it. Well, I'll be off. I'm glad that we're together in this, Kurama. Naruto said seriously. You and me both, Naruto, Kurama said as he slowly raised his fist. Naruto bumped fist and began fading away. See you next time. The giant Kyuubi nodded and watched as Naruto faded. To NAR to Nara Naruto-san. Naruto opened his eyes and saw both of his guests standing in front of him. Both were wearing shirts several sizes too big, red for Irina and a deep blue for Zenobia. HM? Irina looked at him with worry. Are you okay, Naruto-san? We saw you meditating and then you started crying, she said. Naruto wiped the tears from his eyes. Yeah. I was just doing some thinking. I'm fine now, thank you to Bayo, he said with a smile. Irina smiled and bowed slightly. Once again, we thank you for your hospitality. We hope you don't mind, but we took some of your shirts. We came to Japan without any spare clothes, Irina said in apology. Naruto looked the shirts over once again. He smiled brightly and scratched the nape of his neck. It's fine, I've never worn them anyways, he said. Zenobia looked at him with a peculiar look. I never figured someone like you can go into such deep meditation. Naruto smiled sheepishly. It took me a while, but I got the hang of it, he admitted. Zenobia looked away in embarrassment. To be honest, I'm not very good at it. Zenobia can be so hot-headed, it's hard for her to be still sometimes, Irina said with a coy smile. Naruto laughed for the first time in their presence. To be honest, when I was younger, I was so hot-headed it got me in trouble all the time. Zenobia smirked and Irina smiled. We know it's kinda late for it now, but we do have money to pay for room and board, Irina offered. Naruto waved it off. It's fine, you might need it later. But it still feels like we're imposing. If it will make you feel better, let's just say you owe me one. Naruto gave his counteroffer. They both nodded vigorously. We swear to Kami-sama we will repay this debt. Naruto smiled awkwardly and nodded. He stared at the two of them for a moment. Irina cocked her head. Is something wrong, Naruto-san? She asked. I'm just wondering what you two are doing here. From what Rias-chan tells me, it's rare for the churches to show up out of nowhere. Can you tell me what's up with that? Irina glanced at Zenobia. She nodded. They sat down in the sofa opposite his as Irina took a deep breath. We were going to say this to Rias Gremory tomorrow, but I guess we can give you a quick explanation, she said. Naruto nodded and motioned for her to continue. She made a quick trip to her assigned room and returned with what looked a normal rope. She looked at him, and her expression grew somewhat stiff. How much do you know about the holy sword Excalibur? She asked. Naruto responded immediately. Not a damn thing. I don't know anything about Iaitsu Kariburu. Irina's sweat dropped. Excalibur, Naruto-san, she enunciated. In ancient times, Excalibur was considered the strongest holy sword, and was wielded by a mighty knight. Before it was destroyed in the war between the three factions, she explained. Naruto's expression tightened. Rias did tell me about it. Something doesn't feel right to me. My gut's telling me this. He mused to himself. He looked back at Irina. He motioned at her rope. So what's the rope got to do with Excalibur? He asked, once again butchering the name. Irina sighed. Excalibur. Anyways, after it was destroyed, the Vatican, the Catholic Church's headquarters, had alchemists reforge the swords. I assume you noticed Zenovia's giant sword, right? She asked. At his nod, she continued. That was her Excalibur destruction, which is in the possession of the Catholic Church. Zenovia smirked. It's a great weapon, and a great honor that I can wield it. Every single opponent was crushed before its power, she boasted. Naruto's sweat dropped. Somehow, I feel you're a perfect match for it. Zenovia either didn't notice the jab, or thought it was a compliment because she stayed silent. Irina coughed to get Naruto's attention again. She held out her rope and Naruto watched in fascination as it shifted into a standard-looking katana. This is Excalibur Mimic, it can change into any form I want it to. So it's pretty easy to carry around. Each Excalibur has unique abilities. This one is in the possession of the Protestant Church. Naruto looked impressed with Excalibur Mimic. That's really cool. That's all it does? Irina blushed in embarrassment. Yes. I can change it to whatever weapon to fit the situation, she said in a slight defensive tone. Naruto noticed her flushed face and scratched the nape of his neck. I didn't mean it to sound like that, he said sheepishly. Zenovia chuckled. Irina is quick to be embarrassed. I can hardly understand why she was chosen as a wielder for Excalibur, she taunted. Irina glared lightly at Zenovia. She huffed and put her hand together. I don't need your approval because Kami-sama believes in me, and I believe in Kami-sama. Zenovia looked insulted. She too put her hands together. I can't lose to you in my belief in Kami-sama. Naruto stared in amusement as the two began to pray reverently for several moments. Unfortunately, they were speaking a language he didn't recognize. When they had finished their abrupt prayer session, Irina began to speak again. Excuse us. When we get heated up about Kami-sama, we can't help but pray, she explained. Naruto waved her off. It's fine. I have moments where I can't help but pray to the log. Log? Zenovia said, obviously confused. Naruto nodded enthusiastically. Yep, but maybe I'll tell you some other time. I think Irina should at least get to finish. Irina nodded. Right. We've come all the way to Japan because 3 Excaliburs were stolen from the churches, and we believe they came to this town. We're here to either retrieve them, or destroy them. At the cost of our lives if we have to, she stated with a serious expression. Zenovia mirrored her expression and nodded. Naruto stayed silent. There was nothing he could say. The atmosphere was tense for several moments before he glanced at the clock on the wall. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair. All right then. It's getting late. We all have things to do tomorrow, so we should get some sleep, he said to them. Irina and Zenovia relaxed and rose from their sofa. Irina bowed again. Yes, you're right. Good night, Naruto-san, and thank you again. Ah, good night, Naruto, Zenovia said with a small nod of her head. Hi, good night you too. After they went to their respective rooms, Irina to the guest room and Zenovia to his, he summoned a clone to keep watch, just in case. The clone transformed into a vase, and Naruto laid his head back. Soon enough, he was snoring lightly. The next day, Naruto awoke to an empty apartment. On his coffee table was a note that read, We will definitely repay this debt. I and X. He had left for school with a sense of anxiety that morning. Later that day, during lunch, Rias had come to look for him. She entered his classroom as he was about to leave. Ah, Naruto. Can I have word? She said amicably with a smile. Naruto smiled widely and nodded. Sure, I'm free, he said, ignoring the cries of the girls in his class. She led him into the clubroom and asked him to sit. Akino was already there with a snack and tea. Rias grabbed a sandwich and looked him in the eye. So the church duel? Naruto nodded. Yeah, they followed me after I left. We exchanged words and eventually I heard their stomachs growl really loud. I offered them some dinner, and that's how they wound up in my place, he said as he procured himself a sandwich. Rias sighed. You're lucky you weren't a devil. Although still very deadly to human, holy powers are the most effective against devils. Still, I'm glad nothing happened. So you offered them refuge? Yeah, it was late and I didn't want them out there looking for hotels. You are a kinder person than I, Naruto. You are the only person I know who would shelter a potential enemy. They're really not bad girls. Just a little too devoted to their belief, Naruto said. Ufufu. Naruto-kun is friendly with all the girls. I'm jealous, Akino teased lightly. Naruto smirked back. He had gotten used to her low-level teasing. He launched his counterattack. But Akino-chan is so much friendlier, all the guys like you, I feel a little ignored. He managed out. Maybe next time, you'll come over instead. He finished with a light pink dusting his face. Ever since he first met Akino, he had made a personal challenge to catch her off guard. Unfortunately, even though Jiraiya was the perverted hermit of empty Mayaboku, Naruto had little experience with flirting, so he was embarrassed of what he said. Akino gave a sultry smile. Era, Naruto-kun has improved. Ufufu, I may take you up on your offer. Ria's sweat dropped. Honestly, you two are a match made in the underworld, she said with a sigh. Anyways, did you notice anything else? Well, after they showered, I asked why they were here. They told me a little bit about something called Excalibur. Hey, I said it right, dash. They said that 3 Excaliburs were stolen and they think they came here. He told her. I left a clone to keep watch after I went to sleep, just in case. Nothing happened. They were gone when I woke up. Ria's face scrunched up in concern before she sighed in relief. Well, it seems like they aren't a threat to us, for now at least. I'm a little concerned about what happened to Excalibur, but I'm glad you're safe. She smiled before motioning towards the table. Now let's finish enjoying Akino's delicious sandwiches. Naruto grinned and grabbed another sandwich. He decided that these were some of the best he's ever had. Later that day found the entire group in the club room. Irina and Zenobia sat on the couch. Rias sat at the sofa opposite them, flanked by Naruto to her left and Akino to her right. Both Rias and Akino had serious expression, but Naruto looked more relaxed as he waved to the duo. Icy and the others sat in a corner. Kiba had a look on his face that seemed to scare Icy. His expression was downright murderous. Irina started. Recently, the holy swords Excaliburs that were kept by the Catholic Church headquarters Vatican, Protestant Church, and Eastern Orthodox Church were stolen. Naruto maintained a neutral expression. Right to the point, I see. He thought to himself. Rias nodded. I was told such by Naruto, she admitted. She saw Icy's confused look and explained. Excalibur itself doesn't exist, she told him. She turned towards the church group. I'm sorry. One of my servants recently became a devil, so can we continue this conversation while explaining about Excalibur? She requested. Irina nodded and turned towards Icy. Icy-kun. Excalibur broke in the war a long time. Icy still looked confused. Zenobia grabbed her sword and undid the cloth, revealing a long sword. Now it looks like this is Excalibur, she said. She glanced at Naruto and smirked. Icy shivered. Naruto tuned out the explanation he had already heard. The only new piece of information was that there are 7 Excaliburs. He watched as Zenobia claimed her Excalibur for the Catholic Church with pride. She stared at Naruto intensely as she wrapped it up again. When she finished, a set of runes appeared. Irina took out a rope from her robe. It started to move and eventually took the shape of a katana. Naruto was once again impressed by its ability, as he also tuned out her explanation. He managed to catch Protestant Church before she finished. Zenobia looked annoyed. Irina, there's no reason to tell these people the ability of Excalibur, is there? As she asked that, she glanced at Kiba. If possible, Kiba's face darkened even more. Irina looked at Zenobia. Zenobia. Even if they are devils, we still have to form a trustworthy relationship with them in this situation. Also, even if my sword's ability is revealed, I won't fall behind all the devils here, she said confidently. Naruto snorted. Irina looked at Naruto. Did you say something, Naruto-san? She asked, feeling confused. Naruto just smiled amicably. Irina flinched as she caught a flash of metal in her peripherals. All of a sudden, there was a second Naruto holding a kunai to her neck. You're overconfident because you have an incredible weapon. If I was a bad guy, you'd be dead already, he said cheerfully. His clone dispelled seconds later. Irina deflated a bit and looked at Naruto. I thought you were a normal human? I never said I was normal. Naruto grinned. He dropped it as he felt massive killing intent. Looking back towards Icy and the others, he spotted Kiba. If looks could kill, the church duel would have died dozens of times by now from the intensity of Kiba's glare. Rias spoke as if she hadn't noticed. So what does the stolen Excaliburs have to do with this country located in the east of the world? Zenobia spoke up. The Catholic Church was in possession of 2 Excaliburs, including mine. The Protestant Church also had 2. Also in the Eastern Orthodox Church there were 2 as well. The last one went missing in the previous war between God, devils, and fallen angels. 1 Excalibur was stolen from each church. The ones that stole them escaped to Japan, and brought them to this town. Rias rubbed her forehead and sighed. It appears that my territory is full of incidents. So who are the ones that stole the Excaliburs? She asked. Zenovia's gaze turned hard. The ones that stole them were the Gregory. Naruto watched as Rias' eyes widened. Gregory? Who are they? He asked himself. The holy swords were taken by the Fallen Angels organization? It's not a matter of mistake, but certainly it would be the Fallen Angels when it comes to stealing them. For the devils working at the top, holy swords does not give them much interest. Rias explained to them. Irina spoke up. We know the main culprit who stole the Excaliburs. One of the leaders of Gregory, Kokabeel. Rias smirked in amusement. Kokabeel, one of the leaders of the fallen angels that survived the previous wars since ancient times. I never expected to hear the name of the one that appears in the Bible. We've sent priests and exorcists to this town secretly, but they kept getting killed, Zenobia admitted. She continued without hesitation. Our request no, our order is to not have any devils intrude in the battle between us and the fallen angels for the Excaliburs. In other words, we came here to tell you not to interfere with this incident. Rias' expression changed into silent fury. Such manner of speech. Is it restraint? Are you thinking that we would collaborate with those fallen angels? That, perhaps that we might team up with them to do something with Excalibur? Zenobia responded with no fear. The headquarters think that it might not be impossible. Naruto sighed to himself. It's this lack of trust that makes peace so hard to get. Accomplishing peace in this world is going to be difficult. The air seemed to chill. Naruto gulped. Rias-chan is scarier than Sakura-chan when she's pissed. He thought to himself. Zenobia continued casually. The higher-ups don't trust devils and fallen angels. We were ordered as if the holy swords are taken away from God's side, then the devils would be happy, right? The fallen angels would also profit from it. For those reasons it won't be weird for them to form an alliance. That's why we are giving you a warning. If you form an alliance with the fallen angel Kokabeel, then we will eliminate you all. Even if you're the little sister of the Mao. By our boss. Rias glared ferociously at them. If you know that I am the sister of a Mao, then it means that you have a lot of connections with the higher-ups in the church. She nearly growled out. I will say it now clearly. Never, in the name of the Gremory house, will we form an alliance with the fallen angels. I refuse to do something to tarnish the name of our Mao, she announced. Zenobia laughed. Phew, hearing that is good enough for me. She smiled. I had to warn you just in case that Kokabeel is hiding himself in this town along with the 3 Excaliburs. If something were to happen, I would be the one to be hated by the bunch in the church headquarters. She explained. We won't ask for cooperation. If you were to form an alliance with God's side temporarily, then it would affect the balance of the 3 factions. Especially if it's the little sister of a Mao. She finished. Naruto groaned silently. Politics, always coming in the way of doing something right. I'd like to punch the guy who made him in the face one day. Rias' expression lost its hostility, and she took a deep breath. Where is the person the Orthodox Church dispatched? She asked. Zenobia answered her. They have him on hold for this case. He will protect the last Excalibur if Irina and I fail. Rias had an amazed expression. So it's just you two? You're going to retrieve the Excaliburs with just the 2 of you? How reckless, are you trying to die here? Both of the girls looked her in the eyes. Yes. Naruto frowned. Again with that. I can't do anything. Damn it, they're too stubborn. Rias looked on in disbelief. You came here to Japan prepared to die. The belief in your teaching is extreme like always. Don't insult our beliefs, Rias Gremory. Right, Zenobia? Zenobia nodded. The church made the decision to destroy the Excaliburs rather than let the fallen angels have them. At the least we must get the Excaliburs away from them. For that goal, it's okay for us to die. There's only one way to fight an Excalibur, with another Excalibur. Naruto had to admire their dedication to their cause, but he didn't like the fact that they were throwing away their lives. Is it possible, just with you two? Rias asked. Well, we won't die in vain. Zenobia spoke fearlessly. Naruto clenched his fist in anger. Rias smirked. You seem confident. Do you have a secret weapon? Zenobia smirked as well. Maybe. I'll leave it to your imagination. There was a pregnant pause. Why? Naruto whispered. His head was hung low. Zenobia looked at him weirdly. Why what? Naruto spoke a little louder. I understand your passion, but why do you have to be sacrifices? They sent you to your death, and you just accept it? Irina spoke this time. We were ordered to do this. We are glad to follow Kami-sama's will. Naruto looked up, anger flickered in his eyes. If that's how your god works, then me and him have problems, he said coldly. His expression turned sad. Why does anyone have to be sacrificed? My sensei once said to me those who abandon the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. I believe in his words even to this day. Disobeying your orders makes you trash in their eyes, but your god sacrificing his subordinates makes him trash in my eyes, Naruto said unflinchingly. Rias smiled at his conviction. She agreed with his words. Her cute servants were too important to her to sacrifice. Irina and Zenobia's eyes flared in anger. Naruto-san, I respect you for what you did for us last night, but I cannot forgive you for what you said, Irina said seriously as she stood up and grabbed Excalibur Mimic. Zenobia followed suit. Neither can I. Let's settle this with a duel, she growled. Kiba appeared by Naruto's side of the couch. I agree. 2 on 2, he said darkly. He was wielding one of his swords in his hand. Zenobia glared at him. Who are you? Kiba smirked. I'm your senpai. Though apparently I was a failure. In an instant the entire room was filled with demonic swords. Several moments later they disappeared. Zenobia's eyes widened. I see, she said gruffly. All right. Let's do this. Naruto sighed before he stood up. I didn't say it to start a fight, but fine. If that's the way you want to do it, I'm game. Zenobia and Irina nodded. They turned to leave but stopped and stared at Asia. When I saw you in Hayate Issei's house I thought that maybe it was you. You're the witch Asia Argento, aren't you? I never expected to meet you in a place like this, Zenobia said coldly. Asia flinched as if she was struck, and began shaking. Naruto narrowed his eyes. I don't like where this is headed. Irina continued to stare at Asia. Are you the rumored witch? The former holy maiden? It's said you have the power that can also heal devils and fallen angels, right? I had heard you were sent somewhere after you got exiled, but I never thought you would become a devil. Asia fidgeted and stammered. Naruto watched as Icy clenched his fist. Irina continued. It's okay. I won't tell the higher-ups what I saw here, so rest assured. People who were around the holy maiden Asia would also get shocked as well. Asia stayed quiet and made a perplexed expression. Zenobia snorted. But to become a devil, she said as if reprimanding a child. The one who was called a holy maiden. You fell to the lowest place you could. Do you still believe in our god? She asked condescendingly. Naruto frowned. That was uncalled for. He thought to himself. Zenobia, there's no way that she, who became a devil, still believes in God, she said in disbelief. I can smell the belief from her. It's hard to explain, but when people betray the teachings, they carry a guilt within them because they cannot forget the teachings. I can sense something similar coming from her, she explained. Her eyes were sharp as she stared at Asia. Asia's expression turned sad. I can't just put it aside. I believed in it for my whole life. Zenobia took her sword out from the cloth and pointed it at Asia. Is that so? She said. Then you should be cut down by us this instant. If it's now, I can cut you in the name of God. Even if you have sin, our God will forgive you. Naruto tensed, but Icy acted first. He stood in front of Asia and glared at Zenobia. You won't touch her. He said it clearly. Come any closer to Asia, and I won't forgive you. You called her a witch, didn't you? Yes, I did. Right now she's at least fit to be called a witch. Icy growled. Don't fuck with me, he roared. Not a single person helped her when she needed help. The ones who can't understand Asia's kindness are a bunch of fucking idiots. I'm pissed that none of them even tried to become her friend. Naruto nodded at Icy with pride. Zenobia shrugged. Do you think the holy maiden needed friends? The only thing that matters is the charity to others. Once she sought out friends and love from others, she doomed herself. She could have lived just from the love from God. So Asia Argento didn't have the right to be a holy maiden to start with. She said it as if it was obvious. Icy snapped. So you selfishly made her into a holy maiden and turned her into a pariah when she wasn't what you expected. That's fucked up. You're fucked up. He was trembling with rage. None of you bastards know what she went through. God. Fuck him and his love. That God didn't do a damn thing when Asia was in danger. God loved her. If nothing happened, then it means that she didn't believe in him enough, or her belief was fake. She responded calmly. Naruto had enough. Love? You call that love? You're only proving my point, Zenobia. If what Icy said is true, and this is how he shows his love, then I'm sure of it, your God is lower than trash. He glared at her, or rather, her belief in the hypocrisy of her God. I consider Asia my friend, which means when he abandoned her he made an enemy out of me, he declared. Icy nodded. I agree with Naruto. If you lay a hand on Asia, I will make all of you my enemy. Activate boosted gear, he shouted as his arm exploded into red scales. Zenobia looked shocked. Longinus, she whispered. I've heard people claim you can find peace with your God, but I don't see it. Peace can only be achieved when people can come to understand each other. Whether they're human, angels, devils, or fallen angels. He continued. The only peace I see with your God is a false peace. I've heard from Rias-chan of all the wars your God has caused because people didn't follow him. Millions, even billions dead. If that's the peace your God promises, then I will end this cycle of hatred with my own hands. He swore. Rias rubbed her forehead. There was nothing she could do for Naruto, seeing as he wasn't a devil affiliated with her peerage, but when Icy said it as well it could create a problem. Zenovia's expression became furious. Is that a declaration against us? All of us in the church? You claim to be better than God. You have some nerve. You'll receive divine punishment. You will taste the end of my blade, Uzumaki, she declared darkly. Naruto glared back. He reached into his pocket, grabbed his hideate, and tied it to his forehead. I didn't want to fight you before because I respected your mission, but sometimes you can only understand each other by exchanging blows. So, now let's get wild. BGM, Stalemate, Naruto Shippuden OST 1. And I don't usually do this but it fits well. Naruto and Kiba stood against Irina and Zenobia at the school field. The atmosphere was heavy. Rias stood as an impromptu referee outside of the barrier Akino had constructed. She looked at both parties. This is an exhibition match only. There is to be no death on either sides, is that understood? She asked. When she saw 4 nods, she continued. Very well. You may begin whenever you're ready. Zenobia unwrapped Excalibur Destruction. Irina, Uzumaki is mine, occupy the other one. Irina sighed. Fine. Kiba glared at Zenobia. Naruto patted his shoulder. Come on, in a battle like this we need to be a team, well at least have an understanding. We don't know each other's fighting style, but that's perfect. We can start from scratch. For now, we'll do one-on-one with them, if it ends like that, even better. Got it? Kiba nodded after a moment. Fine, but I still want to fight her. Hi. You'll get to, just don't go down easily. Naruto teased. Kiba nodded again. As if by some unknown signal, Kiba and Irina moved to a separate area of the field. The air seemed to gain an oppressive aura as Zenobia gripped her blade. BGM. Naruto activated the spring-loaded kunai holder and gripped his weapon in a reverse blade style. That sword is giving me really bad vibes. I gotta be careful. He made a familiar cross seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He shouted as 24 clones popped into existence. Zenobia hid her surprise well as 25 Narutos darted towards her at full sprint. She hefted her blade and gave a wide swing. The shockwave alone made all of his clones disperse. Using the smoke as a cover, he closed the distance and swung his kunai. Zenobia smirked as she blocked the kunai easily and smiled in satisfaction as it shattered against her blade. Shit! Naruto screamed internally as he narrowly avoided decapitation. He leapt backwards and launched a dozen shuriken. He watched as each one shattered against her blade. He drew another kunai. Okay, Noma Way is out. Anything that touches her blade get destroyed. Time for wind chakra. He thought to himself as he laced the kunai in wind-natured chakra. Zenobia tensed as she felt the chakra emanate from the kunai. Something's different. She mumbled as she readied her sword. Naruto channeled chakra to his legs and rocketed towards her. Although caught off guard by his speed, Zenobia maintained a solid defense as she once again blocked his kunai. Naruto smirked as he noticed his kunai was struggling, but stayed intact. Alright. Now we're getting somewhere, he thought as he began his assault. He swung his kunai relentlessly yet efficiently. Zenobia frowned as she was forced backwards. She managed to parry the last strike, finally managed to destroy the kunai and attacked back with the ferocity of a leopard. Naruto was forced to dodge as she lashed out without pause. He ducked a swipe at his head but was caught off guard by a kick to his abdomen. Gwa! He groaned. Zenobia took the advantage and swung Excalibur again. Naruto dodged at the last moment but was still nicked in the face. He dashed back and gripped his face in pain. Shit. Zenobia smirked at the wound burning on his face. Naruto glanced at a tree in the distance and smirked. He lifted a hand into a seal. His smirk widened as he felt nature chakra fill his system from the clone he had hid there after she wiped out his first wave. He stopped smirking as he felt something different with the nature chakra he gathered. His wound stopped stinging and healed in an instant. He felt very light and feathery as well. Zenobia was left dumbfounded as she watched his cut mend itself. She then noticed that his eyes changed. Around his eyes was an orange pigmentation, and his iris changed from cerulean to a radiant azure with a sideways pupil. She rubbed her eyes and blinked. It can't be where those wings? She whispered to herself. Rias and Akino gasped from the sideline. Naruto is using holy energy, Rias exclaimed. Kaneko shook her head. Naruto-senpai is using senjutsu, but it's an advanced form. I think he's absorbing the ambient holy energy that both Excaliburs are emitting, she explained in her usual monotone. Icy looked shocked. Naruto can do that. Cool. Kaneko-chan, you use senjutsu too, right? Can you do that? Icy asked. Kaneko shook her head again. I'm a Nikomata since I am a Yukai. Using holy energy will always be dangerous to me. So how come Naruto can use it? It is probably because he is human. Humans are adaptable and can change the easiest among the races. They are usually weak, but when they need to, they can become incredibly strong. Naruto is just multiplying that aspect by 100-fold. He couldn't have done this if he had become a devil. Rias explained for him. Icy nodded. I see. Akino smiled. Ufufa. Naruto-kun is just one surprise after another. Naruto beamed as power saturated his body. Sannin mode has never been this strong, he said aloud. Zenobia's eyes widened. So you are a senjutsu practitioner? She asked him. Naruto shook his head. I mastered senjutsu months ago. Zenobia frowned. A master? Naruto jumped up and down lightly. He dashed towards Zenobia quicker than he did before, and threw a punch. Zenobia bent out of the way as best as she could, however she was hit by the holy nature chakra surrounding Naruto's body and was sent crashing away. Zenobia stood up, her face bloodied and portions of her battle suit were torn, exposing her belly button and her back. Naruto panted as Sannin mode disappeared. He looked shocked as he looked at his hands. Already? Damn! That was just one punch! He swore. Glancing at Kiba's fight, he noticed it was mostly even as both sides sustained equal injuries. Kiba had a sharp face on as he continued to switch swords periodically. Alright, time to give Kiba his shot, he mumbled. Zenobia wiped the blood out of her eye and spat out some as well. Damn, I underestimated him because he looked like a normal human. That punch, he's using holy energy somehow. Naruto took a moment to replenish his chakra, with some minor help from Kurama. When he was satisfied, he drew a kunai. Zenobia tensed before Naruto smirked and winked. He dashed over to where Irina was about to take a swing at Kiba and deflected it for him. Irina's eyes widened as Naruto stood in front of her. Naruto turned to Kiba. Your turn, good luck. She's tough. Kiba nodded. He thanked Naruto and dashed to engage Zenobia, who seemed to have regained her energy. Naruto turned towards Irina and smiled. Mind if we take it easy? He asked jokingly. Irina sighed and shook her head. While I didn't show it like Zenobia, I cannot condone your words against Kami-sama. Prepare yourself, Naruto-san. Irina warned him, her katana ready to strike. Naruto groaned before he nodded and gripped his kunai tighter. Irina made the first move and made very quick strikes with her Excalibur mimic. Naruto blocked each one flawlessly. He leapt back and made several hand seals. Futon, Repusho! He shouted as he sent a pulse of condensed wind from his hand. Irina reacted by transforming her sword into a large shield and took cover behind it. Hoa! Naruto-san can use magic too? She commented lightly. She changed her sword into a bow staff and charged again. Naruto bent, ducked, weaved and jumped to avoid her staff. He distanced himself slightly. You're pretty good with different weapons, he complimented. Irina smirked playfully. You haven't seen anything yet, Naruto-san, she said as her sword once again transformed, this time into a spiked whip. Naruto shivered. With the whip and her battle suit, she looked like a typical S&M dominatrix. He reached into his pouch for another kunai to dual wield. He readied himself for her assault. She struck quickly and flawlessly as Naruto did his best to parry the blows. Soon enough, several nicks and cuts littered his face and body, tearing through the school uniform he had on, burning him slightly as they healed extremely slow by his standards. Naruto shrugged off his school shirt, leaving him in an orange t-shirt. Damn things are useless, I swear, he mumbled to himself. Everyone's is so flimsy. He looked back towards Irina. Wanna keep going? He asked. Of course, Naruto-san. I'm not done yet. Naruto sighed. Alright, let's finish this then. He formed his familiar cross seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He shouted as he created 50 clones. Rush her, he ordered. Irina stood in shock as 51 Narutos charged at her. She panicked and couldn't transform her Excalibur mimic in time. She was overwhelmed as the Narutos rushed her. She managed to dispel 6 clones with her whip but was soon defeated. Naruto dispelled his clones to see her lying on the ground. He walked to her form and held a kunai at her throat. Yield, he said. He saw her nod slightly. He removed his kunai and picked her up gently. Putting her over his shoulder, he moved towards Rias and the group behind the barrier. They let him through and he laid her at Asia's feet. It's your choice, Asia. If you heal her, then I won't consider them my enemy, he told her. Asia looked between Naruto, who stood up for her, and Irina. She smiled and nodded vigorously. I'll heal her, Naruto-san. Our God, it also teaches us to do unto others what you would have done unto you. Which means do for other what you want them to do for you. I can't leave someone injured in good conscience, she told him as she began healing Irina. Naruto smiled. Yash, you said it, Asia? Well then, Irina. Wanna let bygones be bygones? Irina looked at him with wide eyes as she pondered Asia's words. Taking a moment to gather her thought, she finally nodded. Alright, I'll forgive you this time, but I don't think Zenobia is going to like that. Naruto smiled brighter. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Kaneko tapped him on the arm. It's cross, not burn, Naruto-senpai, she told him. Naruto rubbed his neck. Ahaha. Yeah, that too. He turned back towards Kiba to see him losing badly. He winced as he saw Kiba forego his speed and tried to win by pure force with an enormous sword. He watched as Zenobia's Excalibur destroyed that sword, and he was defeated by a powerful pommel strike to the stomach. Akino unsealed the barrier as Zenobia moved towards the group. She looked at Rias. Rias Gremory, I trust you with the talk from earlier. Also, you should train your servants a bit more. There's a limit for polishing their battling style. Kiba glared from his position on the ground. She turned towards Icy. Judging by the boosted gear we saw earlier, I'll assume you are the Sekyutai. If that's the case, I'll tell you this. Vanishing Dragon has already awoken, and if boosting is all you can do, you can never beat him. Be warned, as you will meet him eventually, she told him. After Zenobia said her piece, Irina dragged Icy off to talk. Zenobia looked at Naruto with a complicated expression. You confused me, Naruto. However, you were right. I felt your conviction in your blade and fist, she admitted. I do not approve of your disregard of Kami-sama, however I will not actively deliver divine punishment. You are strong. I'd like to test my strength with you again. Farewell. She departed with a wave. Irina went running after her. Wait for me, Zenobia. She paused and looked at Icy. She held her cross and winked at him. Then it's like that, Icy-kun. Tell me whenever you want to get judged, amen. She then waved goodbye to the rest of the group and left. Naruto relaxed on the sofa once again. Fua. That really tired me out. He yawned out. Kaneko moved behind him and began messaging his shoulders. You used a volatile version of Senjutsu, I'm surprised you didn't blow up, she told him. Or turn into a toad statue, he mumbled to himself. He moved deeper into Kaneko's skilled hands. Kaneko raised an eyebrow. Either way, you're tough, Naruto-senpai. Naruto smiled. Thanks, Nico-chan. Kaneko nodded. Asia fidgeted a bit. Thank you, Naruto-san, for standing up for me. Would you like me to heal your wounds? She asked. Naruto shook his head. Nah, don't worry about it. I've always healed fast. Give me a good night's rest, and I'll be good to go. Icy made a sound in awe. Wow, Naruto. Compared to you, I only show my uncool side. He sounded depressed. Naruto smiled. Don't worry about it, Icy. I thought you were cool earlier when you defended Asia like that. Good job. Asia blushed. Yes, thank you, Icy-san. You're always protecting me. Hold on. Yuto! Rias shouted. Naruto turned his head and saw Kiba attempting to leave. Rias seemed extremely angry. I won't forgive you if you leave me. You are the knight of the Gremory group. I will also be troubled if you turned into an exiled. Wait this instant, she ordered. Kiba responded in a cold voice. I was able to run away from there, thanks to my comrades. That's why I have to put their regrets into my demonic swords. He turned to Naruto. Sorry, Naruto-san. He left after that. Rias had a sad expression. Yuto, why? Naruto couldn't see it, but Icy's face settled with determination. Naruto stood in front of the train station with Icy, Kaneko, and a third person he had yet to meet. AAA. And? What was the reason for calling me? The youth asked. He was average height with short, sandy brown hair. Kaneko nodded. He's right. What were you two trying to do? She had originally had planned to train with Naruto, but they met Icy on his way to the train station. She had a grip on his shirt to make sure he wouldn't run away. And while you're at it, why are you with one of the blonde gentlemen? The brunette male asked. Icy sighed. Naruto meet Genshiro Saji. A devil under the student council president Sona Citri. Saji meet Uzumaki Naruto, a shinobi from a different dimension who is super powerful. He said nonchalantly. Naruto smiled. No need for that, Icy. Hey Saji. Nice to meet ya, he said with a wave. Saji seemed to think Icy was joking, and bowed back slightly. Likewise. Icy cut in. Anyways, I am going to ask Shido Irina and Zenovia to give me permission to destroy the holy sword Excalibur. Kaneko and Saji's eyes widened comically. Naruto just smirked. I like it already, he said. Nuh! I'm going home. Saji kicked and screamed. Naruto was dragging him by his shirt so he wouldn't get away. Saji yelled at Icy. Hayate! Why me? It's your group's problem, right? I belong to the House of Citri. I shouldn't take part of this at all. And let me go, damn it! Saji was crying. Don't say that, Saji. The only devil that I know who seems willing to help me is you, Icy said. Saji seemed to squirm more. Bullshit. There's no way that I'll help you. I'm going to get killed by Kaichiro. He turned to Icy as best as he could. Your master, Rias-senpai, might be strict and kind. But you know what? You know Kaicho. She's strict and strict. He continued to cry. Icy had the group searching around town for the church duo. Icy asked Kaneko several questions about the situation between Kiba and Excalibur, as well as explained his plan to ask the duo if they could destroy at least one Excalibur. Kiba wants to win against Excalibur and accomplish his and his former comrades' revenge. Zenovia and Irina want to retrieve the Excaliburs from the fallen angels even if they have to destroy them. All we gotta do is see if they'll listen to us devils and Naruto. Naruto smirked. Piece of pie. Kaneko nudged him. Cake. Naruto flushed. Right. Cake. That's what I said. Kaneko turned to Icy. It's a secret from Bucho and the other members, she stated. Icy nodded. When we go it could lead to a fight, so if you guys want to leave when it gets dangerous. Saji doubled his efforts to get away. Let me run now, wow. That's the worst. I'd get killed by Kaicho if I do something like destroying the Excaliburs without her permission. She will definitely torture me. Naruto pulled a little harder. Hey, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. I say that right, Nico-chan? Kaneko nodded. Man up, Genshiro-senpai. I won't run away for a comrade, she pledged. Naruto smiled and rubbed her head, which seemed to please her. Now if only they were easier to find, Icy mumbled. Nico-chan, hold on to Saji for a minute, he said as he tossed the youth that he was dragging to Kaneko. Yuwa! Saji cried as Kaneko roughly tossed him over her petite shoulder. Naruto stood still for a moment, drawing in neutral nature chakra from the earth. A moment later he opened his eyes. They were the natural golden that usually came with Sannin mode. Found them, he said simply as he led the way, grabbing Saji as he passed Kaneko. Let me go. Saji was once again ignored. After around 13 minutes of walking, Naruto and the group looked at a strange sight. Please give blessings to the lost lamb, please give charity to us on behalf of the Father in heaven. Irina and Zenobia were wearing white robes and were praying on the road. How can this be? This is the reality of the developed country of Japan. That's why I don't like countries that don't have the smell of our beliefs. Zenobia complained to Irina. Don't say that, Zenobia. We lost all the money we had. So we have to rely on charity from these heretics or else we can't get food, you know. We can't even buy a single loaf of bread. Zenobia's eye twitched as she pointed to a crudely drawn painting that could possibly be a saint if one looked hard enough and had a vivid imagination. Humph. It all happened because you bought that fake-looking painting. Irina looked affronted. What are you saying? This painting has the drawing of someone who looks like a saint, that's what the person in exhibition said as well. Zenobia was about to continue when Naruto cut in. Yo! He greeted. You need a meal? Delicious. Once again, Japanese cuisine is delicious, Zenobia exclaimed as she wolfed down her food from a family restaurant. Irina matched paces with her. Yes, yes. This is it. This is the taste of the food from my homeland. Icy looked at his wallet but Naruto stopped him. I got this one, he said. Kaneko nodded. I'll help. This is too much for Naruto-senpai. Naruto shrugged. Suit yourself, Nico-chan. Icy looked at the booth they sat in. On one side sat Irina and Zenobia, on the other sat Saji, Icy, and Kaneko while Naruto pulled up a chair. Zenobia leaned back in delight. Phew. Now I'm calm. It's the end of the world to get helped by a devil. Naruto shook his head and sighed. Even though I'm the one paying, she calls me a devil. Zenobia smirked. Blasphemers share the same fate. Naruto looked offended. I'm treating you to food again and that's what you say. Zenobia looked away in embarrassment. Irina finished her meal and gasped in delight. Phew, thank you for the meal. She then grabbed her cross. Kami-sama, please give charity to these devils. Naruto watched as the three devils of the group grasped their heads in pain. Irina smiled in embarrassment. Sorry, I did it without thinking. Naruto looked confused. Icy turned to Naruto. Devils can't pray or be prayed for, or we get a jolt to the head and a bad headache. Naruto struck a thinking pose. He put his hands together. Kami-sama, please bless Haida Issei. Naruto and Icy recoiled in pain. Ah wow. Naruto complained as he gripped his head. Zenobia smirked. The same happens to blasphemers who pray. Icy glared at Naruto. Why do you do that, Naruto? Naruto shrugged. Curious, he said. He sighed as he felt his healing factor fix his headache. Irina put her hands on the table. So, why did you come to us? Naruto pointed at Icy. He planned this. Go get him, Icy. Icy smiled a bit. You two came to this country to retrieve the Excaliburs, right? He asked them. Irina gave him a weird look. That's right. We already told you that before. Naruto glanced at Zenobia to see her completely relaxed. I guess she wasn't joking when she said she wouldn't go after me. Phew, that's a relief. He thought to himself. Icy took a deep breath. I want to help you destroy the Excaliburs, he said clearly and confidently. Irina and Zenobia stayed quiet for several moments. Icy seemed to get more nervous as the minutes ticked by. Zenobia seemed to stare at Naruto in deep thought. Naruto raised an eyebrow but didn't comment on her weird behavior. Finally Zenobia opened her mouth to reply. Yeah, maybe it's okay leaving one sword to you guys. As long as you're sure you can destroy it, that is. As long as the devil's identities aren't revealed. We can skirt by if Naruto is identified, he's human so the higher-ups will just assume he's of hero descent, but we can't afford the higher-ups and our enemies to think we're connected to you devils. Icy's jaw dropped. Irina looked nervous. Are you sure, Zenobia? Even though Naruto-san is human, Icy-kun is still a devil, you know? Zenobia sighed as she ran a hand through her hair. Irina. To tell you the truth, it would be really tough to retrieve the 3 Excaliburs and to battle Kokobile with only the 2 of us. I know that, but dash. Zenobia cut her off. The minimum objectives we have to achieve are destroying the 3 Excaliburs or take them back. If ours get stolen as well, then we're better off destroying them beforehand. Even if we use our last resort, we only have a 30% chance that we will succeed and return safely. Irina seemed confused. Even so, we thought that the success rate was high enough to come to this country prepared to put our life on the line. Zenobia crossed her arms and continued. Yeah. The high-ups also told us to continue our mission as well and dispatched us to this country. It's almost self-sacrifice. And isn't that what we, the followers, desire for? Zenobia looked at Naruto with a sense of appreciation. I changed my mind. My beliefs are flexible. So I can act in the best way. Irina puffed her cheeks. I have been thinking about it for a long time, but your faith is a bit weird. Besides, weren't you influenced by Naruto-san? Zenobia nodded. I won't deny it, but I think it's our duty to accomplish our mission and return safely. She stared at Naruto with a predatory gaze. Besides, I have someone I have to beat at all costs, so I can't die. I'm going to live and continue fighting for God. Am I wrong? Irina hesitated. You're not wrong, but... Zenobia then glanced at Icy. That's why we won't ask for help from the devils. Instead we ask for help from a dragon and a hero. Icy looked at his left arm. Naruto held up his hands. Okay, what the hell are these heroes you keep talking about? He asked in annoyance. Zenobia looked at him strangely. You don't know your own heritage? Naruto shook his head. I know my heritage, but I'm not a hero like you keep saying. Irina looked shocked. That's what we always thought you were. If you're not of hero descent, what are you? Naruto took out his headband from his back pouch. He laid it on the table. I am a shinobi from Konohagakure no Sato. In Hai no Kuni. Zenobia's eyes widened. A Japanese ninja. Irina shook her head. There's no such place as Konohagakure or Hai no Kuni in Japan, Zenobia. Naruto nodded. I came from a different dimension. He admitted in a hushed tone. Zenobia, Irina, and Saji, who had refrained from speaking out of fear, all looked at him in shock. Irina was the first to recover. A dimension triumph! Irina exclaimed before Naruto covered her mouth. Rias-chan told me not to let the normal people know. Naruto explained. Irina nodded her head. Saji turned to Ayase. I thought you were joking, he whispered harshly. Zenobia stroked her chin. That explains your unusual abilities. What were those? She asked him. Naruto smiled in pride. That's my ninjutsu. The shadow clone technique and wind style, Gale Palm. Saji whimpered. Hayadu, why do you surround yourself with weird people? Zenobia nodded. I see, as far as I know, the church doesn't have anything against dimension travelers, right, Irina? She asked. Irina shook her head. No, Zenobia. In fact, I believe they're revered as messengers of God, she admitted. Zenobia smirked. Then they'll have no problems if we receive aid from the Sekyurai and a messenger of God. She then turned back to Ayase. Although, I never thought that I would meet the Sekyurai in a distant country like this. Even if you turn into a devil, I see that the dragon power within you is still present. If it's like the legend says, then you can increase your power to that of a Mao, correct? Ayase nodded slowly. If you gain a power to that of a Mao, then you can break the Excaliburs without a sweat. Naruto smirked. I'd like to see an Excalibur survive my Raisen Shuriken Jutsu. Zenobia smirked. You seem confident. She complimented. I honestly believe that it was God's doing that we had this meeting, she said happily as she motioned to Ayase's side of the booth. Irina still seemed hesitant. See, certainly they didn't tell us not to borrow the power of a dragon or Naruto-san, but you are just saying nonsense. Your belief is too weird. Weird is fine with me, Zenobia said nonchalantly. But Irina, Ayase's your childhood friend, right? Let's put our trust into him and his group. The power of a dragon and shinobi. Irina stayed silent, but looked somewhat content. Ayase smiled. Okay. The negotiation is a success. I will lend you guys my dragon's power. Naruto raised a fist. I'll lend my strength too. Ayase nodded. Then can I call my partner for this cooperation then? Kiba showed up, and after exchanging information about the situation, the duo of Irina and Zenobia got ready to leave. Zenobia took out a pen and a memo pad. She wrote down her contact information and handed it to IC. If something happens, call this number. IC nodded and took the paper. Thanks, then we should also. We already received ISC-kun's number from Obasama. Irina cut him off. Are you kidding me? Oka-san. She gave it without my permission. IC cried out. Zenobia got up. Then that's it then. TCH. Now I owe you 2 meals, Shinobi Uzumaki Naruto. Irina also got up. Thanks again for the meal, Naruto-san. She bowed slightly. She turned to IC and winked. Next time, you should treat me IC-kun. Even if you're a devil, Kami-sama will allow it if it's IC-kun who treats me to a meal. It's okay if it's food. After that, they left with a wave, and everyone let out a deep sigh in relief. After a moment of silence, Kiba turned to IC slightly. IC-kun, why did you do this? You too, Naruto-san. Why are you helping me? He asked quietly. IC smiled. That's easy. We're comrades. We belong to the same group. Don't think I forgot that you helped me before as well. It's not like I'm trying to repay you, but I thought I would give you a hand this time. Naruto clapped him on the shoulder. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be here. You housed me the first night and introduced me to Rias-chan. You're already my comrade. I won't be helping you get revenge, I'll be helping you move on from your hate. Now that I know a little more about the situation, I think that I can help. Kiba smiled wryly. If I act by myself, then I would also cause trouble for Bucho. That's also the reason, right? IC looked embarrassed. Of course. Bucho would get sad if you were to go around in a rampage. Actually, the fact that I made this plan by myself will cause trouble for Bucho as well, he admitted. But it's better than you becoming an exiled, right? It even turned out to be a success. Kiba still looked pensive. Kaneko reached out and grabbed his shirt. Yodo-senpai, I would get lonely if senpai disappeared. She had a sad face as she said this. I will help you, that's why please don't go. She pleaded. Kiba looked troubled for a second, before he broke out into a defeated smile. Ha! I give up. If Kaneko-chan says that to me, then I can't do reckless things. He chuckled. Okay, I'll work with you. Thanks to IC-kun, I know who my true enemy is, but since we're doing this together, we're definitely going to defeat the Excalibur, he said confidently. Naruto grinned. Yash! We're going to kick their asses. Saji, who had remained forgotten, raised a hand. Do I have to do it as well? I mean, I'm totally uninvolved in this after all. How are Kiba and Excalibur related? Naruto nodded. I'm lost too. Rias-chan didn't tell me about this, so I didn't bother with it. Kiba sighed. Let's talk a bit. Kiba then began explaining his past with Excalibur, and the experiments that him and his comrades were forced into. All of them were skilled with swords, and there was a sacred gear user. They had been forced to believe in God's love. In the end, Kiba and his comrades were unable to wield holy swords, so then came the disposal. Everyone died. They were killed. Killed by those who serve God. No one saved us. Just because we couldn't use the holy swords. Other boys and girls were put under poisonous gas while still alive. Us too. They poisoned us while saying amen. Even so, we were seeking help from God. Kiba explained somberly. Naruto grit his teeth. They were treated like pawns, no, like they weren't even human. Kiba continued. I want to accomplish my comrades' regret. I don't want their deaths to be in vain. I have to keep living in their place and prove I'm stronger than Excalibur. Naruto gripped Kiba's shoulder. Kiba. I now understand why you want revenge. I'll help you. Not for your revenge, but to prevent what happened to you from happening with other children. So we're gonna stop this together, as comrades. Naruto said seriously. Kiba seemed shocked before he smiled. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled and held out a fist. Kiba looked confused for a moment before he realized what Naruto wanted. Bumping his fist with Naruto's, he nodded confidently. Yu Saji sobbed. Everyone turned to him. He was crying heavily and had a dripping nose. He took Kiba's hand into his. Kiba! It must have been horrible. I understand why you hold a grudge against those people from the church and Excalibur. Everyone stared as he made such a spectacle of himself. To tell you the truth, I didn't like you before because you were a good-looking guy, but it's different now. I will also help. I'm willing to receive the punishment from Kaicho. But before that we have to destroy Excalibur. I will work hard too. You have to live on as well. Don't ever betray Rias-senpai who saved you. He finished. Kiba nodded slowly. Okay. It's a good time. I want you guys to hear my story. You guys should know about me if we are going to work together. Saji then became somewhat shy. My dream is to make Kaicho pregnant and marry her. But you know, making a girl pregnant and marrying her is hard for an unpopular guy like me. There aren't any girls that I can make pregnant to begin with, but I will, one day. Saji admitted with glittering eyes. Icy took Saji's hand with tear-filled eyes. Saji, listen to me. My aim is to grow Buchozape and then suck it. Then next several moments were the most awkward moments of Naruto's life. The duo went on about the breasts of their respective masters. Kiba chuckled awkwardly. Kaneko summed up her feeling into one sentence. You are the worst, she said as she inched towards Naruto, away from the perverted duo. Naruto just sighed. Perverts everywhere I go, he mumbled. He stood up and stretched. Well, Kaneko-chan. We still got a couple hours to burn. Want to get some training in today? Kaneko stood up from the booth and nodded. Can I join Naruto-kun? Kiba asked as he too stood up. Maybe this will give us time to get familiar with each other's fighting style. Naruto smiled and grabbed him into a one-armed hug. Yash! Let's go! He shouted. He walked out the door, Kiba in tow with Kaneko walking behind them. Saji and Icy continued to cry together in the restaurant. Naruto sat upon a bench in the town's local park, fiddling with a strange device in his hand. The fountain gushed water from behind him. Akino sat with him, slowly explaining to him what said device was. Naruto looked the little object in his hand over with fascination. He turned it over in his hand. So this is a cell phone? Akino smiled and nodded. Yes, this is a communications device that lets you speak to anyone who also has a cell phone with them, or a home phone, she explained. Naruto twirled it in his hand. How does it work? She smiled coyly. The actual process that it uses is complicated and isn't necessary for you to know. Naruto narrowed his eyes comically. I think she just called me an idiot. The ebony-haired beauty ignored his gaze and took out her own cell phone, a normal black flip phone with purple accents. After flipping it open, the screen lit up. Let me see your phone for a moment. He handed over his phone, an orange flip phone with a spiral insignia on the back, to Akino. She flipped through his phone's menus for several moments. When she finished, she closed the lid and handed it back to Naruto. Ufufa. I recorded your number to my phone and I made sure to add my number and Rias to your phone, she explained. She then opened her phone and navigated through several menus. Now watch what I do, she told him before she turned her phone towards the blonde. She went through the process of selecting a contact for him. Hovering over the contact listed Naruto, she clicked the button. Several seconds later, Naruto's phone rang. He stared at it in wonder as it vibrated in his palm. An annoying ringing noise sounded from its tiny speaker. Now what? Akino laughed lightly. Open it up, and put the top to your ear. Ufufa, she instructed. After doing so, Akino stood and moved back several meters. Can you hear me, Naruto-kun? She said through the speaker. Naruto's face brightened. That's cool. I can hear you perfectly. It's like a radio, he exclaimed. Akino smiled. She closed her phone and sat back down. Now we can contact each other if something happens. She smiled coyly. Now we're never more than a phone call away, if you want to get together. She licked her lips sensually. Naruto was oblivious as he fiddled with his new toy. Definitely Akino-chan. This is definitely cool to Bayo. Akino pouted faintly as he failed to take the bait. Naruto closed the phone and leaned back. He put his hands behind his head and relaxed into the seat. It was nice of Rias-chan to pay me for that fight against Gengar. Still, isn't 60,000 yen too much? He wasn't really that strong. Afufu, most of it went towards that phone of yours though, also I think it's apt payment for making sure I wasn't scathed. She put a hand to her cheek. I just felt so protected when you saved me, I think I'm in love, she teased. Naruto blushed. I mean, he stuttered. Akino giggled. You're still an easy target, Naruto-kun. Naruto stayed quiet with his cheeks flushed. That was something else. I'll have to remember that, he mused. Akino stood up. Ufufa. I'd love to keep teasing you, but Rias is expecting me. Naruto looked up towards her. Alright, Akino-chan, I'll see you later. I gotta go meet up with Icy anyways. Era, you've been spending a lot of time with Icy-kun. Are you doing something naughty? Naruto blanched. Not you too, Akino-chan. No, he was going to take me to this place with a whole bunch of games and stuff. He was really excited about it too. Ufufu, alright then. Have fun, Naruto-kun. She waved as she walked away. Naruto watched her go before he stood up. I hate to lie to you, Akino-chan, but this is so Kiba doesn't wind up like Sasuke did. He murmured to himself. He glanced around the park and nodded. Alright. Time to go. He vanished in a swirl of leaves. Naruto sat down comfortably on Ise's bed. He glanced around Ise's room with curiosity. Almost immediately, he spotted where the brunette male kept his dirty magazines. On the bookshelf, third book from the left, was a small space accessible only from a single direction. Naruto's sweat dropped. Ero-sennin rubbed off on me more than I thought. Kaneko, who was sitting in a chair that Ise provided, also glared at that same spot. It seemed she had a sixth sense when it came to things perverted in nature, at least when it came to the ultimate pervert. Jiraiya would have been proud of the brunette. Saji and Kiba were there as well, standing near the wall adjacent to Naruto. Asia had left the house earlier with her senpais. According to Ise, Rias and Akino took Asia out for some fun to help cheer her up after her encounter with the Excalibur duo. Ise stood by his desk and paced for a moment. Alright, after I got back home yesterday I brainstormed in my room. I think I came up with something good. He stopped pacing and caught their gazes. Everyone glanced at each other, then looked at Ise again. It's simple. Ise began. We'll dress up as priests, crosses and all, and walk around town in local spots where priests go. He finished with a bright smile of pride. Kiba gave it some thought. So instead of looking for them, you want to draw them out to us. Not bad, Ise-kun. Simple, yet effective. Kaneko nodded in agreement. Hayato, I'm impressed. I thought you might have actually come up with something like running around town screaming their names or something equally as idiotic. Saji complimented. Naruto lowered his head in shame. That's what I had in mind, sighing to himself. He lifted his head to address Ise. It's good, but aren't you guys allergic or something to crosses? He asked. Kiba shook his head. Not if they're fakes. Naruto nodded. Ah. Well then, it's pretty good, I guess. Do you have the clothes already? Ise shook his head. I was going to call Zenovia after we discussed it. Naruto's face brightened. He dug into his pocket and pulled out his new phone. Hey! I got a phone too. He smiled. Akino-chan took me to the store to get it today. Ise smiled. Great. We'll exchange numbers later. Let me call Zenovia with the plan. 40 minutes later found 7 teenagers sitting alone in a park. Zenovia handed Ise a package. I only managed to get 4. One of you will have to deal without. Naruto smirked. I got a jutsu that's perfect for this. He put his hands together into a tiger seal. Henge! He announced. He exploded in a cloud of smoke, and where he sat was an exact replica of Kaneko, complete with her trademarked monotone expression. I can even do this, the replica said in the same tone as Kaneko. She stared into the real Kaneko's eyes blankly. After a moment of silence, the doppelganger put her hands together again. Henge! Another puff of smoke, and there sat Saji with a fierce flame in his eyes. Hayate! I'll lay down my life to accomplish my dream, to make Kaicho pregnant. Another cloud of smoke, and Naruto returned with a cheerful grin. The majority of the group was left dumbfounded, except for Saji, who was glaring at Naruto. That was meant to be Private Uzumaki. Naruto gave him a peculiar look. You sure? 'Cause I think everyone in that restaurant heard ya. Saji blinked before he turned his head away, red staining his cheeks. Zenovia shook her head. So you can transform into anybody, regardless of gender? She asked. Naruto nodded. I can transform into almost anything, from rocks to animals. As far as I know, they're the only things I've ever transformed into. She raised an eyebrow. And it's a corporeal transformation? Naruto tilted his head. Corporeal? You mean is it real? Yeah. Ise looked towards Naruto with curiosity. Does that mean that if you were a girl could you? Naruto gave him a dirty look. If you mean could I have sex as a girl, I don't know. I never cared to try. Ise seemed embarrassed of his question. He then shook his head quickly and stood enthusiastically. Do me! Naruto, transform into me! He requested excitedly. Naruto observed him for a moment before he shrugged and performed his jutsu again. Ise popped up from the smoke. Bucho's a pay. I wanna suck them. The real Icy flushed in embarrassment. Icy senpai is the enemy of all women, Kaneko commented harshly. Irina blinked twice. Icy-kun became such a perverted person, she exclaimed in shock. She turned her head towards the sky. Is this a test from Kami-sama? Everyone pointedly ignored her outburst. Zenobia herself seemed mildly disturbed by the perverted display. Naruto reversed his jutsu. Anyone else before we continue? He asked almost sarcastically. Zenobia caught his gaze and smirked. I'm curious to see your portrayal of me. She crossed her arms. Naruto sighed before he used his jutsu again. Zenobia faced Zenobia as they sported identical poses, complete with matching smirks as well. Ready to face divine punishment to Uzumaki? Icy shivered. That's too real. Naruto, how can you mimic everyone so well? He asked. Naruto transformed back and rubbed the nape of his neck. I had a lot of practice when I was little. I even made a jutsu I'm sure you would like, Icy. Maybe I'll show you later. He promised. Zenobia nodded. Alright, we did our part, you'll have to do your own investigations. She said this as she stood up. Let's go, Irina. Irina stood up as well. She winked at Icy. Call us if you find anything, she said as she walked off with Zenobia. Icy stood up and raised a fist. Alright, let's get going, we got a shitty priest to find. Naruto laid his head down uncomfortably on his desk. It had been several days since they started their search, only to find nothing. He was mentally drained. If he had to listen to another one of Saji's day-long complaints, he was going to throttle him. Not to mention, he missed several days of training, which is what he was actually upset about. Uzumaki-kun, pay attention. His English teacher reprimanded. She was a woman who couldn't be more than 30. She had a youthful face, short mahogany-colored hair framed her face. She had a cute button nose and full glossy lips. Her body was attractive yet modest, nothing too large yet nothing too small. Had she been employed in any other high school, all of the male student body would ogle her endlessly. Sadly, she taught at Ko Academy, home of the supernaturally endowed beings. Naruto lifted his head. Hi. Hi. He mumbled. One hi is enough. Now then, since you felt so inclined to nap during class, please translate the next sentence into English, she told him. Naruto stood up, as he soon learned was custom, and grabbed his book. There is a multitude of different reasons that I could give, however none of them represent the intensity of my feelings for you. He translated with a thick accent, but otherwise perfect English. The teacher smiled. Glad to see you've been practicing. You may sit down now. Naruto sat back down and ran a hand through his hair. Of course I've been practicing. 3 clones a night. I'm already 5 chapters ahead, he complained internally. The bell rang as that class ended and the teacher left. Kiba turned to Naruto. That was impressive, Naruto-kun. Naruto rubbed his neck. Ever since those two from the church came I've been practicing more. So that way I can pronounce all of their weird names. Kiba chuckled. They're not weird. They're European. Naruto waved him off. They're weird to me. Oh yeah, how come you never seem to have any problems speaking English? Kiba blinked. Bucho didn't tell you. He glanced around the duo to ensure the security of their conversation. Devils have an innate ability to speak any language. It's a bit more complicated than that though. That's no fun. You don't get that feeling when you finally manage to do it right. Naruto sighed. I guess since you got it, might as well put it to good use. So anyways, are you going to that karaoke party Icy invited us to? He changed the subject. Kiba shifted in his seat. I told him that if we can settle this thing with Excalibur I would go. Are you going, Naruto-kun? Naruto grinned and nodded. Even where I came from we had karaoke. I never had the chance to go because I was always training or going on missions. So of course I'm not passing this chance up. Kiba nodded in understanding. I see. The math teacher walked in before they could continue. All rise. During the time the Occult Research Club had normal activities, Naruto spent it writing into a book. Whenever someone had asked, Naruto responded with the short response, "It's like a memento for my master and my rent money," and left it at that. Everyone else performed his or her duties normally. It was later now, and it found 4 individuals walking around town. Saji, Icy, Kaneko, and Kiba stayed disguised in the priest's clothes. Naruto trailed them silently in the guise of a fox. Today he realized the irony. However, he decided to ignore it. The day before yesterday, he was a snow rabbit, another piece of ironic coincidence. On the day before that, he had trailed them in his normal form, however he quickly grew bored and decided to experiment with different animal forms. On this day, he kept as close a distance as he usually did without seeming suspicious, so he was roughly 25 feet away at all times. No progress today as well, Saji complained. Naruto twitched an ear in annoyance before he tensed at the burst of killing intent. He glanced around for an enemy that appeared to be unseen. Kiba seemed to notice as well as he also stiffened. Kaneko seemed troubled. Yuto-senpai. Suddenly, Naruto lifted his head as he identified the direction the killing intent came from. He released his transformation from the cover of the foliage. He prepared to dart towards the group, however a piercing cackle broke his concentration. From above the group of priest-robed devils, came the white-haired youth Naruto saw fighting Kiba his first day in this world. He fell from the sky with a long sword drawn in position to kill. Something like a divine protection for the group of priests' eye. Kiba reacted quickly and blocked Freed's blade with the demonic sword. Ice recognized him. "Freed!" he shouted. Freed's ears twitched. "Is that voice you, Ice-kun?" Well, isn't this a weird reunion? How is it? Has your dragon power increased? Is it alright to kill you now? He asked excitedly. Naruto strode out of the bushes as the group discarded their disguises. Ice raised his left arm. "Boosted gear." "Boost," his arm announced. Naruto drew a kunai. Flipping it expertly, he held it in a reverse grip. "Stretch my line." Saji launched what looked like a skinny black hand towards Freed. It came from a disfigured lizard face attached to his hand. Everyone quickly deduced that the hand was the lizard's tongue. Such a pain. Freed moved to knock it away, but the lizard's tongue swerved downwards and stuck to Freed's right foot and coiled around his leg. His attempts to cut it failed as his sword phased through the tongue. Saji smirked. "You can't cut it that easily. Kiba. With this he can't escape. Beat him down." Naruto looked at Saji with newfound respect. He turned his attention back towards the ex-exorcist. "I got your back, Kiba, let's do this." Kiba nodded. "Thank you, Saji. Let's go, Naruto-kun. I'm trusting you to watch my six." Naruto smirked. "No problem." He held his kunai in front of his chest. Kiba made a quick dash towards Freed, two demonic swords in hand. Freed looked excited. "Gee. So it's not only the Holy Eraser, I see. Having multiple demonic swords. Are you the possessor of sword birth, perhaps? Wow. You're guilty of having a rare sacred gear, you know." He cackled as he blocked the demonic swordsman's blades. But normal demonic swords can't put up a challenge against. Kiba's eyes narrowed as his swords broke. "My Excalibur-chan." Freed gloated. "Naruto-kun." Kiba sidestepped. Naruto rushed next to him with a kunai charged with wind chakra. "Take this, you bastard!" he shouted as he swung. Freed blocked lazily, seemingly uncaring as Naruto's kunai withstood the contact from his sword. "Not good enough, stranger-kun." He laughed. Naruto smirked. He performed several quick jabs with his kunai. Each blow was deflected easily. He flipped acrobatically over Freed and attempted a slash at his back. Freed spun and parried his kunai. The kunai finally shattered against the holy sword. The Dimension Traveler ducked under the swing that nearly decapitated him. He quickly darted backwards as Kiba swung at Freed from the side. "Never forget about me," Kiba shouted. Freed bent backwards in an impressive display of flexibility as Kiba flew over him. "Two against little oil me? Devil-kun. I thought you were better than that." He laughed disturbingly. "It doesn't matter, you can't stand up to my Excalibur-chan." Kiba and Naruto moved back. Kiba glowered at Freed. "Kiba? I want to take him alone. I have to prove myself." Naruto sighed. He thought about it for a moment before he nodded. "Fine, but don't forget about us. We're here to help." Kiba nodded. "Boost." Ice steadily boosted his powers. "We got your back, Kiba." With Ice's words of encouragement, Kiba rushed towards Freed and engaged in a battle of high-class swordplay. Every time one of his demonic swords shattered, he replaced them within milliseconds. Naruto leapt back towards Ice but stayed ready to intercept. Ice grit his teeth as he watched Kiba's sword shatter time after time. "Kiba, do you want to receive my power?" he asked. Kiba dodged an overhead strike from Fried. I can still go on, he assured before striking with renewed ferocity, glowering at the Excalibur that Fried held. Fried cackled. The way you look at my Excalibur is scary. Do you perhaps hold a grudge against it? He asked with a deranged smile. Well, I don't know what happened to you, but if you get cut by this you can't avoid being eliminated without a trace, you know. You'll die, you know. You are going to die. Just die, he shouted. Fried leapt into the air and prepared to strike. His Excalibur began to radiate a brilliant white. Kiba attempted to block the psychotic swordsman by creating demonic swords across the area. Fried smiled eerily, and with a single strike, all of Kiba's swords shattered. Naruto glared at Fried. It's like watching Sasuke face Haku. Damn it! He widened his eyes. Wait, he smirked triumphantly. That gives me an idea. He turned towards the foliage around the area and his smirk widened. He looked towards Kiba. Kiba, tag out. I got an idea. Kiba dodged a sideways sweep and looked at Naruto. He saw the blonde's confident grin and sighed. Fine. I'll leave it to you. He threw a demonic sword towards Fried with deadly accuracy. He took Fried's lapse of concentration to retreat backwards toward the group. Naruto nodded. He spared a glance towards Saji. Pull hard on his leg when I make my move, you'll know when. Saji gave him a quizzical glance. How'd you? He shook his head. Never mind, you got it. Naruto reached into his pouch and retrieved a paper flash bomb. Fried raised an eyebrow. Are we playing baseball now? Blondie! He grinned widely. The silver-haired swordsman raised his sword in a mock batter's stance. Naruto grinned cheekily. He sent a pulse of chakra into the ball. He gave it a light toss as it exploded into a blinding light. When the light vanished, Naruto was gone and a light haze of smoke settled over the ground. BGM, Kenja, Blood Prison OSD.